Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. I am so sorry for the extra lateness. I know ain't nobody gonna be in here right now. And I'm gonna tell y'all excuse me for my background. And I'm gonna tell y'all excuse me for the times I go out because I'm sure I'm gonna go out because I'm going to be on roads that I usually don't travel on when I'm online. So my apologies in advance. All right, y'all. So we are going to be talking about some of the events this week. I'm gonna try to stay away from some of the just pearly things conversation because I have not watched the Obsidian and Pearl interview that I think happened a little while ago. So I might be coming back later on tonight to cover that. Um, so you know, yeah, there's that. So I don't really want to say too much about that over the past week. Um, so there's just so much to there are other things we can cover, like the conversation with BGS talking about that, and you know, covering what we see happen. Well, covering Nick Fuentes and his ideas and concepts and what conservatism, Jesus Christ, is coming from him, and he kind of gave us insight on what that is, right? And that's real conservatism, right? That's what it really looked like. That's what it really sounded like. It's not this kind of lowercase c cultural conservatism that many people think of when they think of conservative. You know, it is it is what Nick Fuentes was speaking about, which is really authoritarianism, right? So, oh, and thank you for the super sticker, Oliver the Gray. Thank you very much, right? And yeah, so there's that. What else? What else did I cover this week that I wanted to kind of give us more detail on? Give me 1 second. Let me make sure I give my commentary on this other thing that I covered this week that I think was important, right? Oh yeah, FD signifier and the harm distribution conversation. So yeah, we covered that earlier. Let me give a little bit more. So for those of you that saw the live that I did earlier this week, speaking about FD signifier and his talk of essentially trying to get us right back to intersectional feminist theory, um, which proposes that black women are the most harmed. Let me make sure I say this correctly. It doesn't overtly say that, but it implies and suggests that, and you're supposed to go along with that, right? And this is where many of you hear Mr. Z bring this up all the time, which is the benign neglect of black boys and black men, because we're playing oppression Olympics, and black women, black girls are the gold standard. And so you don't worry about black men's and boys' plight, because what's assumed is that if you fix black women, then everyone else in society is fixed. Period. Right. So this is how you ignore the plight of one group, assuming that if you fix the plight of another group, then everyone else should be a-okay. Right. So that's why I really had to make that video earlier this week, addressing FD signifier and essentially him trying to obscure intersectional feminism behind this talk of harm distribution. I know they don't really want to have that conversation. Right? They really don't want to have a conversation about harm distribution because it's going to get real ugly real fast. And let's be honest, you're telling black men to minimize whatever they're feeling and whatever they're experiencing, because you've got to think about what the women are experiencing. Forget what's happening to you right here, right now. Play it down. Right? and definitely defer to the feelings and the sentiments of aggrieved, bitter, angry women that really, you know, if you ain't deferring to what they think, then aren't you being a misogynistic, sexist monster? I mean, for real though, right? So there's that. And I definitely had to cover that earlier this week, right? And what else did we have earlier this week? I know I didn't do that many lives this week, right? I spoke about the spectacle. Um, so the spectacle that is black media right now, right? Particularly the gender conflict and how other people who are watching outside of the black race, I would say the black, really black American, but black, the black community that's in the know. There are non-black people that are all part of this conversation, right? For many of us, we know there are a lot of non-black people that watch Fresh and Fit. There are a lot of non-black people that watch Kevin Samuels. There's a lot of non-black people that kind of peek into some of our conversation, and for many of them, it's just entertainment. Our actual gripes and issues are just entertainment, right? And so it's a spectacle. And I want us to be careful because we're actually having real conversations about what irks black men and what irks black women about black men and black women. And for other people, it's just look at how they're talking about each other. Look at that, right? Getting their laughs in, right? And I stand by what I said, which is black people seem to be the rock'em sock'em robots of the dominant society, where white men and white women are going through it. Don't get it misconstrued, but black men and black women are the ones who's feeling the crap, right? You're the ones who's actually getting hit, right? And I want us to be mindful of that, right? Because you'll be encouraged to talk crazy about the opposite sex of your race in the presence of these people, with no benefit to you, by the way, no benefit to black people, right? Now I know that there are some of us that don't really feel like playing the honor game, especially when the opponent doesn't seem to have much honor, and they will run to White Daddy to talk crap about you and maybe even get you hemmed up or even killed. I am fully aware of the fact that there are many black people that are black men in particular that are like, yeah, why should we follow these rules or have any honor in this when the opponent doesn't seem to have any honor whatsoever, right? And I understand that. I can understand that sentiment definitely, but you got to be careful, right? You got to be careful how you speak in the presence of these people because it still can come back and bite black men in the butt, right? And that's why I call it a spectacle because in many ways it is, right? And what else do we have? Oh yeah, when I was like Jason Black is right kind of. So the Jason Black is right kind of is and the reason why I said that, hopefully I could get home before this battery dies on my cell phone. Um the reason why I said Jason Black is right kind of is him calling the black manosphere the winosphere, right? And it would be interesting because I don't know how well we've gotten air quotes solutions and answers from Mr. Jason Black on where we go from here. And excuse my background, y'all. Um, it's a person that would agree with us on certain issues that black men are describing, and then the solution for him is simple, which is like what, go to the gym, get fit, get money, and be getting in, and everything should work itself out because as I've said before, you'll just have an army of well-to-do brothers that are fit, and the women wouldn't have a choice but to get down with your program. And I just don't buy that, right? Because all you did was move average up. They have an issue with average, period. Because we live in this highly advanced society, these people have an issue with average, period, and they demand extravagance. They demand the absolute top, but that's only ever 10% of your society at most. And that's why this is an issue. So you can continue to move average further and further up. They're always going to have a problem with average, right? They're always going to have a problem with average because average is the problem, you know. And that's been my pushback. That's been my pushback towards Jason Black for the longest, is that average is the problem for these people. So we can have an army of well-to-do brothers. The problem is that it's still, you move average from 40, $50,000 a year to $120,000 a year. Now they got a problem with 120. Then you move average from 120 to 250. Now they have a problem with 250. Meanwhile, as you're doing that, your people are having less children, getting married less, right? The women are still talking crazy. So there's that, right? Train tracks, train tracks, train tracks. And so this is something, one of my pushbacks that I offer, Jason. I understand the need to kind of use access to women as kind of a carrot to motivate men, but as we can see with young millennials and Generation Z, that's not motivating them to do much of anything. Threatening them that they'll never get vagina, right? Threatening them that they're going to be single, threatening them that they're going to be they're never going to be in relationships. That doesn't seem to be motivating these young men to move. They have easy access to adult content. They have video games. They have the whole online sphere. Threatening them that they're going to be single forever. You're talking about many young men that have already been single right up in their mid-20s, telling them that that's going to be their life forever. It's like, okay, well, right? How do you threaten someone that really doesn't have much anyway, right? So that, I don't I don't know if Mr. Black has considered this, or much of our society has considered this, when we threaten young men that, hey, well, if you don't get in line, then you'll never have a wife. Well, I'm probably never gonna have a wife anyway. And what is having a wife that really can't stand you and that's only with you for the resources anyway? And that's probably gonna divorce you in 5 to 10 years anyway, because you left the toilet seat up one too many times, or you lost your job and the clock is ticking. That's what you're threatening the young men with, right? A 50% divorce rate? Okay, yeah, that's it, right? What are we actually threatening the young men with that would actually stick, right? So that was my pushback to Jason, and that's why I said Jason Black is right, kind of, right? And to call them, once again, as I said, you call the Black manosphere the winosphere, but we're describing your life. At least what the little that we know of it. A brother that's doing well for himself, fit, right, knowledgeable, disciplined, but never been married, have no children. So you call us the winosphere because why now? Oh, because we don't think exactly like you, and we don't move exactly how you think it should be, how we should move. And so what? That makes us dumb now or weak, right? And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat, right? I also covered this week um, are elite black women the bourgeoisie, right? The petite bourgeoisie. We got to get our bourgeoisies um, correct and in line. Are elite black women the petite bourgeoisie of the black community? So this is not just your standard Wow. I was talking to myself. Wow. I am so wow.
You were talking to me.
No, I was talking to myself this whole time. So thank you very much, y'all. I don't know how long I went with no sound. Thank you. Thank you. I looked down and I saw no sound. So okay, so I guess we're going back to what I was saying earlier, which is the petite bourgeoisie of the black community. The petite bourgeoisie of the black community are the elite black women. And I'm sorry for those of you that didn't hear what I was saying earlier. So I'll just go over that all over again. Don't worry about it. I ain't forget. Um and what I was saying is imagine telling black men to stop aspiring for heterosexual nuclear families. Imagine that. And that, by the way, that is what we're telling black men, right? That is what we're telling black men. Stop aspiring for nuclear families, right? That's some white patriarchal stuff, right? And these same people, by the way, aspire for nuclear families. The same people that's telling you not to. They're either aspiring for nuclear family or they have it already, right? And not all of them. I mean, Khadijah's a little different. She's queer, so she don't really care what happened to straight black women or black men, right? She don't have to live by those rules. You have Kim Foster, who said to herself she don't really care for having children. So there you go. So these particular people get to dictate what the rest of us are living. Is that what we're saying? And that is the question, BGS, right? What's in it for us? Yeah, exactly. And that's the question. Let me actually leave that up for a little bit. That's what's in it for. So let me get this right. Black men are supposed to still be men, still look out for black women, black children, even the ones they don't have. Cool. Meanwhile, you can't even have a nuclear family of your own because that's some white patriarchal stuff, right? That's some white patriarchal stuff. Having children in wedlock and a marriage that lasts more than 10 years, more than 5 years. And I said this earlier. So these people get to be in, for those of them, the elites, including black elites that want to be married, they get to be in marriages with children for how many decades? Meanwhile, the rest of us have to be out here with the LGBTQ and trans and mean a-hole women, right? Or get married and then get divorced within 5 years because you left the toilet seat up one too many times, or because you lost your job and the clock started ticking, right? And we're really doing all of this for what? Because we have a contingent of black women in the black community that are serial monogamous. So they go from one relationship for 5 years to another relationship for 5 years to another relationship for 3 years to another relationship for 7 years. And so we got to rejigger the entire black community because of this handful of people. Well, not even really handful of people, because of these people. And as BGS said, nobody could tell black men, straight men what's in it for them. So we just try to shame them to be okay with that. These are the same people that keep on saying that black women are the least self-interested and selfish group. Meanwhile, they're telling you to be selfless and not be self-interested. As they complain about being selfless and not self-interested. Right? You know? And so Terrell Billy said, what do we get? I ain't even gonna read that last part. Right? What we get, like I said, we get the a-hole women. We get the girlfriend or the baby mama that that turns into a wife and then divorces you after 5 years. That's what we get, right? You get to be out here with the teas, right? That's what you get to be out here with. That's what you get to be out here with. That's what you get. Stop aspiring for nuclear families, black men. Have sex, enjoy whoever you're enjoying for the 2 3 years she want to enjoy you, and then let her move on to the next dude, have a kid from that dude, move on to the next dude, have a kid from that dude, or maybe not have kids, just serial monogamous, right? So she have kids with the fun dude when she's 25, 26, 27. Then she moves on to another dude that she has fun with again, have another kid from him, and then you're the third or fourth dude runner up, and you have no kids from nobody, and she just stays with you ever as her safety net for the next 10, 15 years, right? Maybe even divorce you and then get lifetime alimony from you,
Mm.
right? That's what we're telling black men to sign up for and to shut up about it, right? Har- harm distribution, right, Mr. FD signifier? Harm distribution, right? Kim Foster straight up told y'all stop aspiring for this thing. You're not gonna get that, right? As per her white handlers, you're not getting that, black man. Stop aspiring. That's for the elite whites and the black dudes and women with some real money and the upper class. You, Mr. Black Man, you working class black men, you don't get that, right? So that's definitely why I covered the petite bourgeoisie, because what are they actually doing? The black petite bourgeoisie, what are they doing? What are they actually doing for black people? Even black women, what are they doing for black women? Right? Oh, I forgot. Y'all are freeing black women from black men that aren't holding them hostage or in bondage in the first place. Yeah, that's it. Great job on that one, right? So that if that's what this is, if this project is just to free black women from black men who aren't holding them hostage or in bondage in the first place, what a swell job you guys have done. Because black women are still seen as black and they're still stuck in the black community with black men. Yikes. Decades of begging white daddy to come and save them, and it ain't happened yet. All right. Decades, you know. These people already show you what they think about you. That's why I continue to say these people might sell out in the sunset with their spouse and their great life. Meanwhile, they're going to leave working class black women behind. Right? They're going to leave working class black women behind, claiming that they're advocating for them. They're not advocating for working class black women. They're forwarding elite white feminist theory, painting it black, and then telling black women this is what they should live by. Right? At the detriment of these same black women. Right? And BGS said, or they'll be left in the black community without black men. Either way, right? And there's something about that. I think some people would be okay black people they want, right? A handful of black men out here, as the procreators, a bunch of non-reproductive black women, and then the queen bees. That sounds like heaven for them, right? Nobody to regulate, nobody to listen to, nobody to except for the occasional white man that comes through every once in a while. And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. What else do we have this week? Right? Oh, money is the motive. Money is the motive was and I'm actually thinking about this more and more. How much of these people are doing this for cash, right? So I've said this before, but particularly Paris, Yanni, Chrissy have all kind of slipped up on their live streams and pretty much said, yeah, I might change my content eventually, go to more luxurious and lifestyle content, because the gender warring is costing them too much. And they would much rather get the women on more aspirational, you know, luxurious lifestyle thing. And it really is about the money for these people. You got to remember, like, these people aren't Mr. Z. They don't, they don't work 9 to 5. This is their job now. YouTube is their career. And so they got to keep the content coming. Yeah, they might make a couple of dollars off of some side business that was started off with YouTube capital, right? But this is it. So they got to continue to push more and more of this. The gender conflict is their money. So yeah, they might go to look and like Paris said, yeah, I might switch up content, but I'll always come back and do stuff for this type of rhetoric. I will always come back and make content for this. And we already know, like, people spin when they're angry or when they're enraged, and so these people make content for their subscribers to always be enraged, right? So yeah, so y'all give me a second, y'all talk amongst yourselves. Mr. Z will be right back with y'all in a minute. Give me a second, you guys. Okay, babe. So I not in trouble. I'm in a dead zone, or at least I think I am. Promise you guys, my neighbor driving skills are absolutely positively trash. Just complete dumpster fire. Anyway, on another note, back to what we were talking about. So, you know, the money is the motive. The money is the motive for a lot of conversations going on with black men and black women. The resources, and I don't know where people think they could get off in rising and competing by yourself in a society where it really is about, you know, dual income, and you're going to compete with the elite, right? Or even with solid and stable families with two parents that are, you know, two people that are earning really well or even well, right? And you're going to do that with your single income, your single income that's not even all that great, right? And that's what it seems like a lot of people are saying actually, right? So I mean, much of this content that I see online, particularly on the women's side, is just psychologically getting them ready to be single forever, right? Or like serially single, if that makes any sense. I want y'all to know, like, we're talking about people that's in their 30s, late 30s, that's never actually been in a relationship, right? Noble, actually, no, no Popeyes today. No Popeyes today. Hysterical, right? And that's much of what the conversation is. And I just want us to always keep that in mind, that a lot of these people are doing this for the money, right? At the detriment of their own subscribers that they claim to care about. Y'all show me the evidence of that. I don't see it, right? Their subscribers that they claim to care about, or even black women that they claim to care about in general. I mean, Kim Foster claims to be advocating or being the voice for black women. Meanwhile, you're saying we need to bring back, we don't need these Negroes feminism. I'm going to tell you this like forever, you guys, because she said it, right? She outright said it. Meanwhile, like, everything says, yeah, actually, black women do need black men. But, that's a whole different conversation, you know. I'm going to bring you guys up in a minute. Um, But yeah, so I just want to go through a couple of things today. Pretty much the most dominant story for us in the Black Manosphere this week really was this just pearly things conversation, and Jason Black bringing it up, and then just from multiple different angles, us dissecting it. BGS doing his thing, Obsidian, Ed, if I'm not mistaken, I think Art Newstyle covered it a little bit, and we're just trying to see what is Mr. Jason Black speaking about, right? And you know, I mean, leave it to Jason to say these type of things, and you know, I'm gonna continue to listen to Jason Black, like I said. When he's on, he's on. But the brother told us to pull him to the side if he starts to become that old ornery Negro. And brother, you're that old ornery Negro now. You were always ornery, but now it's like it's pretty bad. It's like pretty bad. It really is, right? And people say things like that, like, hey, if and they don't really mean it. So like, I don't know if he will hear me say this and then be like, oh, what you know, right? But no, brother Jason, you became the old ornery Negro, right? Just fussing, not cussing, but fussing, right? And just, yeah. And it's actually, it it doesn't distort your message per se, but it makes it very difficult to digest outside of the people that like verbally abusive language, right? The people that like to be barked on. There's people that like that. They get off on that type of stuff. But everybody else, yeah, they're not with it. They're not with it, right? You know. So there's that. Give me a second. All right, I'm gonna put this in the comments. Give me 1 second, you guys. Uh, and today's kind of a free for all. Whatever you guys want to talk about a little bit. I actually wanted to get. Oh, so random things. I didn't know it was like 20 people apparently that kind of brought SBV Bank down, or at least maybe I said that. I said that wrong. It wasn't 20 people that brought it down, but it was like 20 people in a group chat that were talking about it, and all of a sudden, all you know is the bank starts like losing, right? You know, you feel me? And Pinsip said this JPT situation has been turned into a mess for the whole Black Manosphere, and like that's why I'm like, I said what I said earlier. I think I made like 2 videos, and I'm like kind of over it. I do want to give my commentary on the Obsidian Just Pearly Things interview maybe later. I'm if not later on tonight, maybe tomorrow. And after that I'm done. I'm done, right? I just want to know what she, because I saw that she did do like kind of her own um kind of video. I skimmed through it, and she did all right, but I want to see what Obsidian was able to glean from her or get from her. And I'll pause right there for now on that one because I don't really have too much to say about Just Pearly Things in this whole thing. I don't see Just Pearly Things as being the leader of the Black Manosphere or any of that stuff. But okay, whatever. And what's going on, Better You?
Nothing much. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, Baru?
I think you just said it. The whole just pearly things kind of got everybody in an uproar.
Yeah,
Um,
man. Leave it
in
to a
my,
white girl just come in the room and everybody's like, oh crap.
it, I'm not surprised though.
Hmm.
Um, I think it kind of leads into, well, I got my own channel. It's small, but I
Hmm.
gave my thoughts and I'm editing everything right now
Yeah.
for it. But I think it really leads into a bigger question, which is there something to be gained from working with people like this? Like I have my own beliefs and sentiments, which in a social arena, I believe no. In a political arena, I believe yes. But
Mm. It, you know, I said this before. I got into a big shouting match with Mr. Fantastic one time. And this is like one of the I've only been in maybe 2 or 3 shouting matches, and this was the very first one, and it was the most serious. And it was because of this conversation of allying with white men over black women. And I'm like, you got to be careful with that. And he wasn't trying to hear that, right? So like, I get what you're saying, and I tend to agree. I'm, huh, I don't know. I think there's nothing that's going to come off the table that's just going to be specifically for black men. That's not going to happen, right? There
yeah,
somehow, some way, there's going to be, we're gonna have to do work with others, right? So that's number one, especially if we're speaking about the political realm. If we're not just trying to be online talking crap, if we actually want to see the 15-point plan that Dr. T has or any of that come to fruition, we're going to have to ally with other groups of people as black men. That's just a given. Um, but even even considering that, we have to know that there are going to be people that, before we even get to the backstabbing thing, like I said, they're just here for the entertainment, right? They're just here to
Yeah.
get a couple of dollars. They're just here because, like, the, okay, I'll give an example. Yuval Noah Harari speaks about when the printing press came about. Instead of speaking about Galileo and all of these other, scientists and philosophers and astronomers, one of the best-selling books outside of the Bible was How to Catch a Witch. You know, when the printing press came about, and like when I look at the internet and kind of this social media space and some of the conversation we're having, that's what comes to mind for me, right? It's like black people and different people engaging in like this type of conversation, and it gets so much attention. Like, obviously, like we were speaking before, shout out to Zulu, we were speaking about like the Caspian report. I'm subscribed to all of that stuff, right? Visual politic, the Caspian report, real life lore, like all of that stuff. I'm subscribed to all of it. Polymatter, you name it, right? All of it. Infographics, like all of that stuff.
You naming all of my subscriptions right now, bro.
Right, literally, like and I watch all of it, right? And even for my lefty stuff, like I'm subscribed to woke bros with Waz in them. I'm subscribed to This Is Revolution. I'm subscribed to Black Power Media, which is Dr. Jared Paul's channel. I'm subscribed to. Man, I tell you, when tell y'all, my subscription list is so it's ridiculous. It got to be a few hundred, if not 1,000. It's stupid. And
Yeah.
I'm not even counting the car stuff that I watch, right? But I'm
Okay.
saying all of that to say, like, you know, with this kind of, especially with YouTube, with Twitter, not so much with Twitter. Let me take that back. With YouTube, with TikTok, from my understanding, so much of the black conversation, right, and the blackosphere, we'll call it, right, and the Negro sphere, um, is this kind of relationship back and forth, um conversation. It like so dominates our politics. It is crazy, right? So that's why I brought up Yuval Harari speaking about, like, printer press comes about, and we're not talking about Galileo, we're talking about How to Catch a Witch, right? So that's what I see us doing with social media, and I'll pause right
Yeah.
there. Oh yeah, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat, people. All right, go ahead, Big Kev.
Yeah. I was about to say, here's my question. I think a lot of people have been asked this question, like keep it 100 and whatnot. It's like when it comes to just pearly things, it's like, pardon my French, who the fuck considered Pearl the leader of this space? Like amongst the content creators, because I'm looking around and everyone's asking the same thing. I mean, I understand Dennis was saying that shit just to troll, like Dennis Sperling,
Yeah.
okay? But like in all seriousness, like people were asking who the fuck considered Pearl a leader of this space.
I think
She was the leader of this space according to who?
I think it's just the detractors, or just the people that have a that have an issue either with her even being somewhat
So
adjacent,
just
or
niggas
like
trolling,
any.
basically.
Yeah, so I really, yeah, so I really think people say, oh, y'all letting the white girl lead on some, like, why is she even here, or like y'all giving
And
her
it's like,
way too
how is
much
she gonna be
attention,
leading the
or yeah.
space when most of the vast majority of her subscribers are white?
Once again, I agree with you, by the way. I'm just saying, like, to answer your question, like, directly, I think it's just people like, and shout out to attorney Dennis Sperling, but I think it's just that, like, that same sentiment, like, oh, y'all didn't denounce her or renounce her from the jump, and because y'all didn't, like, overtly, like, very aggressively push her away, then, oh, now she's the leader of the space, right? So, like, that's, yeah. I think
And
that's
I
sentiment.
just get tired of that shit. It's like, listen, I, I just have to say it like this. Like, listen, first of all, when it comes to like the detractors, I'm like, listen, okay, I'm not saying you have to be in this space, but it's like, if you're gonna complain about what the space isn't doing, first of all,
Mhm.
nigga, do it yourself. Okay,
Uh-oh.
like nobody's stopping you. Okay, number one. So if you say, oh, we need to focus on this, okay, well then do it. Fuck it. And
Mhm.
like, if you have some type of plan of action, I'm like, fuck it, do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not gonna stop you until you not to. I'm like, fuck it. The only way I'm gonna step up and say something is if I know it's on some bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
like how could I put it? Just like the reason why I question the credibility of somebody like an FD Signifier or a Mary Brown is because I think the basis of what they're talking about is bullshit. It's not the desire to have camaraderie with other so-called black folks that's the problem. It's the pretense under which they're claiming it, which I was like, yeah, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? But the
Mm-hmm.
sentiment in and of itself isn't the problem. It's the pretense.
Mm.
It's the pretentious bullshit surrounding it that I have a problem with. You know what I mean? Like if it's just a few brothers working together, or like a few families, coming together and doing business with each other and help, building each other up economically. I'm like, cool. I'm not against that. I think the reason why a lot of people have a problem with this space is because we're saying like most of what we say is community unity and pro bleedy black is just a bunch of just grandiose bullshit,
Mm.
without any practical application.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
Yep. Yep.
like
Yep.
it's just a bunch of sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. I'm like, that's the reason why it's starting to fall apart. Even on social media, a lot of dudes are basically saying like, "Hey, man, I used to be pro-black until I realized that all they did was just basically just dick police brothers, and then don't say anything to the women. So I had to get the hell away from that shit."
Yeah,
You know?
bro,
I
Yo,
think
bro.
that
go
gets
go ahead. Go ahead,
into.
Zulu.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Zulu, and then better you.
okay. I totally agree necessarily with I think it was with Big Kev, because I trust me, bro. I used to be like the biggest pro black on the planet, bro. When I mean, bro, like I used to have that Garby flag on, like, you know what I'm saying, tatted on my chest, bro. But as you kind of get old, you be like, oh, they just on some matriarchy, gynocentric shit. That's it, right? But you understand necessarily when it comes to the pearly thing, like what black women believe that they're matriarchal, right? See what I'm saying, right? They believe that they own you, right? So, quote unquote, a woman, so any white woman that you didn't violently get rid of, she think is, quote unquote, oh, that she own you or some shit like that, right? So in their mindset, that's how they look at it. But these people are confused. But when I tell you, I just came from TikTok, bro, and I don't know, maybe it was just the day I came off of it, maybe the hour I came off of it, man. They starting to crack, bro. And I mean, like, you can visibly start to see it in their face. And I can't say I can't say it's glee, but it's more like, I don't know. It's a weird emotion. It's like something you kind of wanted to see, but when you see it,
When
it's
you
like
say
you don't
they're
know.
starting to crack, what do you mean?
Oh, dude, they're just okay at this point, right? I didn't saw at least 4 or 5 Instagram, not Instagram, but TikToks, right? Well, these girls like 24, 25, 26, like, and 28, they're figuring out, like, legitimately, like, these dudes are really like wholesale stop fucking with them. Like wholesale stop fucking with them, right? So they got like panels everywhere, just like, how do I get a man? What do I need to do? So forth and so. And some of the little what is not, I'm not gonna sound blue pill dudes. They're more like purple pill dudes. You know what I mean? They're trying to like coach these women in here, but I'm like, bro, it's too late for you. You're 20. You're 28. You're 27 years old. You got two bodies. You got like shit. How many bodies? 2 kids, most likely. Fucked up attitude. You're like culturally, you already behind most people already. And then when you look at that and then kind of compare that to, like, competing against women who got a 5,000 year or 500,000 year culture that's been intact necessarily, and they've been perfected over years how to properly take care of an attractive man, and you got your basically 200 and some shit. That's I'm gonna say I ain't gonna say what's the right I'm gonna use warped culture, right? See what I'm saying? And you try to compare that on a global scale against women who ain't playing with you, who are equally as more beautiful you, and sometimes you got one from the like African culture that's not that can actually rival you for body, look for look. It's they starting to understand. Oh, I'm really fucked out here, really fucked. So yeah.
In other words, they ain't ready, and this pressure is real as hell.
Yeah, like I'm watching girls cry on like Instagram, like not on Instagram, but on TikTok. Just, what do I do? Like, I can't, I don't know what to do. My boyfriend is not messing with me. My boyfriend left me, and like he's going overseas, and he went to Dominican Republic, and he's not talking to me anymore. And it's like,
Yeah. Like shit got real. I think here's what it is, right? I think when people talk about the so-called the black population going extinct. I don't think it's going to go extinct. I think it's going to be a population reshuffling, where it's going to be like, hey, listen, it's going to be a lot more. And it's sad to say because again, a lot of people, a lot of so-called Black Americans have like indigenous ancestry and don't realize it, but it's going to be a population reshuffling. You're going to see a large injection of like Afro Latinas and like Blasians,
Oh yeah,
like
bro.
Blasian women in the community. Like when you see chicks like her, like the singer her, or if you see like these like Afro Latina chicks, you're going to see about 5 to 10% increase in women like that over like the years, and they're just gonna kind of slowly
It's gonna diverge. That's what I
yeah,
really
that's what I'm saying,
believe.
right? Like
It's gonna diverge.
it's gonna diverge because what's gonna happen is that all them super pro bliggity bliggity black pro black panderers, they're basically going to be a permanent underclass. You're going to have people
Basically,
like a Derek Jackson or Ace Metaphor. They'll be able to make money off of them, but they're going to turn themselves into basically a permanent underclass.
the-
And most of the so-called upperly mobile so-called black people is going to be that population is going to be a lot more diversified. As far as like physically speaking. So
no. Basically, what I'm
So
saying is what it's going to be. It's going to be basically the more patriarchal the man is, the more necessarily the divergence is going to be, right? So we already know that the culture is matriarchal and it's all Ghana central, however you want to go with it, right? So when you understand it necessarily, like for me, like if you me, I couldn't be under no chick like that, right? So I'm going for the African chick, right? So it's going to be the complete. I really believe that the community is going to divide strictly down those lines, and as those lines start to kind of get more defined and more defined, it's going to be yeah, that's how it's going to end up being because like I can't have my kid chilling with your kid, and you know what I mean, like because I don't want
But
this shit
Dennis
coming off
Sperling
of me.
said something like that before. He said, and that. So I made this video maybe maybe 2 months ago, which is like the we're gonna get to the place where like and it was it was gonna be over mainly color lines, right? So like just take our colorism in the black community and just turn that shit into the caste system in India. Because if more and more men and women in the black community are going out of the black community to date and marry, right? Mainly lighter people, right? That's for those of us that don't get African brothers or brothers and
Yeah,
sisters
Africa,
from the
yeah.
Caribbean or whatever. But
But
those
that's
of
what
us
I'm
that's
thinking.
like,
The Colombia and the Brazil thing is in the
yeah,
Africa thing. It's like that's where I'm thinking it's going to kind of diverge because that's basically where you're going to like but the places that they're going to are where the women aren't necessarily dark or
yeah,
brown skin.
yeah.
So
That's
it's
for
going to be
the men, but for the women,
oh no they
right? You see what I'm saying? So like those of them that date out, it's gonna be on some white stuff or some white Latino stuff. And then if they're on the same thing we're on, which by the way, some of them are encouraging, they're gonna encourage their children to be on the same type of thing. What you will have is a cast of light, essentially coloreds in South Africa, but more
uh,
anti-black,
I no,
right?
I think
uh,
no. What I'm saying is that
Go ahead.
Mrs. Z, when I say
Mhm.
population reshuffling, I'm saying like they're still going to be like they still going to be like they still going to be niggas, but they're not just they're going to be like a more diverse a range of it. Like how can I put it this right? It's you're
there's
still
going to
going to
be
have
more admixture in the gene pool.
exactly
yeah they're going to get
like they're
color.
still going to
You're going
be
to get colorized then,
like
man, by default.
no. I'm not saying it's not going to be strictly on color. It's going to be based off of cultural lines because what's going
Culture,
to happen
yeah.
is that you're going to have a mixture, like you said, of people who have African wives. You're going
Patriarchal
to have
and matriarchal, bro. That's going to be the defining thing because like
exactly right,
it,
right. It's not going to be based off of skin color. Yeah, it's going to be based off of culture. Like I think
Mm,
the ones that are more gynocentric are going to become like the permanent underclass, and the ones that are going to be what we call quote unquote patriarchal, those are
mhm,
going to be like the upwardly mobile people. That's what I
mhm.
mean.
No, that
And
makes
they're
yeah.
going
sense.
to have a
Hey,
wide
so
admixture.
can I get in here for a second, please?
Yeah,
Go
sure.
ahead, bro.
I think better you guys first though, but I mean
Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, you know what? Yeah, yeah, PK, my bad. Better you go ahead and then PK.
So, well, I'll say this: like, pro black is something I hear thrown around a few times in these spaces, and it kind of confuses me. So, when I think of it, like it's as a black man, it's instinctually, yeah, I'm pro black. I'm for myself, or for people that my people, or for my family. So, like, when y'all say pro black, like, what do y'all mean?
Okay, I can tell you it's very simple. Well, the community is matriarchal, right? So when you say quote unquote, pro black, you basically saying save the community, right? But say the community as it is currently, right? So that would mean you would need to quote unquote either change the mentality of the people. But let's be honest, bro. Black women don't want to change to not being matriarchal, right? They like the power that they get, right? So that means the men are gonna start leaving off. When we already have 56% of the men just say fuck it, we out, right? 56% of the men said we out, right? So those are more patriarchal, forward thinking dudes, right? They're gonna go get women. They're gonna get women, right? I mean, so at the end of the day, it's gonna be a divide amongst the culture because God, honestly, I can't afford for you to take my child back 4-5 steps and I just worked to got my kid into the proper position, proper school, and all this other shit. I got him running for president, and God, honestly, it's like you're going to have to separate because you don't want that bullshit, that cultural matriarchal mindset to kind of flood into your household.
Let me give a
Yeah,
stab at this. So when I think the way pro-black is being said in these spaces as a pejorative is that we actually mean pro-matriarchy or pro-gynocracy when we say pro-black, because
Basically, that's what I mean.
if black women lead the black community, um, and we have done our very best and we have been told to pretty much leave it as it is. When you say pro-black, you're pretty much, and this is what Zulu is saying, you're saying leave it the way it is, go work on the men, but there ain't nothing wrong with the women. And anything that is wrong with the women, if you fix the men, you'll fix the women. Right? This is like where Dr. Umar Johnson come in, where like the women are sugar and spice
God,
and everything night exactly God. And like anything wrong with them, once you fix the men, the women will fall in line. And even Jason Black falls into this, was like the women won't have a choice but to fall in line if the men just become supermen. And so when you hear pro-black, it's in these type of spaces as a pejorative, like not when I say
I
it
say
or
it
when
both
like
ways,
Art
man.
Newstyle says it. Yeah, but like in many places, kind of in the black manosphere, when you hear it in a negative, you one of them pro-blacks. Translation: you one of them. Don't say nothing to the black women. It's all black men's fault.
Yeah,
And I'll
basically, it's
pause
pro
right there.
matriarchy, basically. It's pro matriarchy. Keep the
yes.
matriarchy going.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yes,
yeah,
exactly what
yeah,
you're saying, Mr. Z.
yeah,
That's exactly what it
yeah.
is.
So
And even some of
that
them
that's
admitted
pretty much it.
themselves.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
even some of them admitted themselves. Again, like when you look at the Amiri Brown and the FD signifiers, they
Mhm.
either directly or indirectly admitted themselves. Yeah, when they
Literally,
say
Bro,
when
FD
they may be
signifier
pro-black,
said
they
harm
they
may
on TikTok
distribution.
now saying it's the matriarchy,
Yeah.
bro. Like we got to keep the matriarchy alive. And so basically, at
exactly.
this point, you already know what it is. It's just go ahead and burn this shit down and keep it moving.
Literally, the brother FD signifier said harm distribution. We got to consider black men got to consider harm distribution. This, like, I put the link in my description for that video that I
Said
entitled
harm
harm
distribution.
distribution. Bruh, literally FD signifier. In other words, you going through it with your mom. You going through it with your girl. You going through it with black women in the community. You went to a store and the black girl behind the counter was mean as hell or rude as hell. But you got to consider harm distribution, black men, right?
I don't give a fuck, bro.
So
So
translation, in other words, we get right back to intersectionality.
yeah. That ain't happening, bro. Like right now, I got a big
You
booty
know,
Uganda. I just texted like 45 minutes ago, bro. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna
It-
happen, bro.
yeah,
It
yeah,
even exactly.
yeah.
All right. So I
And that's
mean, there's
Go ahead,
there's
PK,
been a
go ahead.
lot. There's been a lot that's been discussed, and like the topic has shifted from like here to there to everywhere. So I mean, it's
Hmm.
been mostly on point, but I mean, there were a handful of things that I was going to address, but I don't even know where to begin anymore, to be honest with you. But I
Wherever
mean,
you want to start, brother. And by the way, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Go ahead.
so I think something people have this mis mischaracterization of or misunderstanding of is they believe themselves to be above what is the social arrangements, and they
Hmm.
think that they are not necessarily classes don't have any interaction with other classes, and that's just not true. Unless
Yeah.
you're at the very top of this pyramid scheme, unfortunately, there isn't much that you can do about separating yourself from the rest of the classes, even if you believe yourself to be a productive uh, member of society. You know, you're going to go
Hmm.
out and get another woman, this, that, and the third. Like, that sounds cool in a bubble on an island amongst yourself, but in a society, things just unfortunately don't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the thing that Mr. Z mentioned earlier was in relation to the printing press. And what he said was is that one of the most popular books of the time was How to Burn Rich.
I know how
And
to picture
something
it.
that you'll find prevalent throughout all time, throughout all societies, throughout all history, the one thing that seems to be a constant and a truism is that the most important thing to humans is other humans. Okay?
Yeah.
So you can't necessarily escape that conversation, and that conversation is going to touch every single vector of this of really anything. It doesn't matter what you're
Of your
talking about.
country.
You're always talking about people at the end of the day, and relationships in between people, because everything stems from that. Always,
Uh,
always.
Oh yeah, I was
Whether
about to
it
say.
be
Yeah,
money,
yeah.
whether it
No,
be
no, nobody's saying
politics,
they're gonna. Yeah.
whether it be anything macroscopic or microscopic, it will always involve humans. Okay, so relationships and people cannot be discounted. That is the bottom and the top order discussion.
I mean,
Always.
it is the
Oh
pie.
yeah.
How I look at it. Without it, you have nothing to stand on. It's the pizza.
So
It's the bread. It's the bread for our pizza, bro. Without that, we can't stand. But what I'm looking at, like when I'm talking to
That's pretty damn important. The bread on the pizza.
yeah, but basically, right. So when
The
when
one
I'm
thing
like,
you need the most. Go ahead.
yeah, right. So the funniest part is like I'm listening to white girl talking about I'm a matriarch. When you start seeing shit like that from a
What
white
does
bitch,
that
you like
even mean from a white chick? Anyway, go ahead.
so like this shit splitting down the middle. So that's what I'm saying. It's starting to split. So you start to see dudes starting to go one way, other chicks starting to go another way, and depending on how that kind of their lives turn out, it's
Mm.
gonna be some
What
weird shit
got
going
me
on.
is what you said, Zulu, earlier, and BGS, you could jump in whenever you want. You know, you got elder privilege. What got me, Zulu, is when you said you were on TikTok and like the sisters at 24 already cracking.
Yeah, because
That's crazy, bitch. You ain't even really start struggling yet.
no,
Well,
but you
because
gotta understand.
again, you
No,
got to
she is
remember,
because
no matter what they say, Mister
Hmm.
Z, okay, a large part of a woman's self-esteem is tied to her being
With a man.
desired when it comes to like relationships. So
That's
if you're
true.
considered undesirable when it comes to relationship, I don't give a fuck what none of these feminist chicks try to say. That's gonna fuck with a woman's self-esteem, no matter what.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then
It's gonna
imagine you
fuck with
got
her.
scores of men just leaving, they just not they like when I tell you, bro, like these dudes just they going for the neck, they going for the jugular just off
Hmm.
rip now. It's not
Yeah.
even girl. I love you, girl. It's just you gonna submit. Nope. All right then.
That's just, hey, I mean, look, like I always say, I hate to see it for you, but go ahead.
No, do it. Say it. Don't say it. No,
Go ahead,
don't
go ahead,
hide,
BGS.
man. Don't hide, man. Say it like you're gonna say it, because you caught that. Say it
What?
directly. Say it with your chest. You stopped it in midstream. Say what you're gonna say.
Yeah, say what
Oh,
you gonna say, bro.
I hate to see it for him. That's what I was gonna say. I hate to see it for him. Oh well,
Nah, fuck it, I
like,
do. I enjoy it. I
yeah,
enjoy
no.
it.
So BJ, you believe me, right? That's what I was gonna say. That is what I was gonna say. Like, damn, I hate to see it for him. Like that. It sucks. Like, bro,
I
like,
don't.
It's a
I,
lesson that got to
they
be
have
learned, bro.
it's some. You know what? My children, right? Okay.
uh
If you warn them, okay, 2 or 3 times, you punish them. Okay, when they get their ass beat, I don't feel sorry for them.
everybody always tell me the same thing. Mr. Z,
Yeah.
why do you look? I done
I
seen
feel
my
like an
sister.
alien. I feel like an alien because I'm just indifferent to the whole
Yeah,
thing.
I'm
I
No,
don't look
indifferent,
at
you
bro.
it
know what
one
I'm
way or
saying?
the
Okay,
other.
okay, okay. I've sat down with my niece and say, "Hey, don't do that. Hey, your mom's gonna get you right." My older sister, and
Mhm.
like, I still feel a way when I see her get the spanking, though. Right?
Because you
It's
don't.
not that I don't want her to.
Because
She deserve it, but I'm just like, damn, I hate to see it for you.
because you're not the one giving the spanking.
Yeah,
You when you have to give the spanking, you don't
yeah,
feel that way. You don't feel sorry
yeah,
for it. You deserved it.
yeah.
I
You know,
warned you. I gave you multiple opportunities, man.
and
You asked for this. Okay.
here's an English translation of something we say in Creole, which is like, it's better that your child cries than you cry. And what that means is, if you cried as a parent, that means something really went wrong.
Yeah.
But if the child's crying, that's because you probably disciplining them or whatever, right?
Mm,
So and we have that saying in Creole, which is like, it's better that child cries than you cry,
mm.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So that makes sense what BGS is saying. It does. But
Yeah.
hey, bro, hey. We're part of the Black Master. We try to tell them. There's niggas on TikTok. There's niggas on YouTube. They not trying to hear it. They trying to hear Kim Foster tell them, bring back. We don't need these Negroes feminism. And well, those women are living that life and they crying
But
themselves to sleep at night.
but the thing, the people on top that she gets paid that taught her are changing the message already because the whole world is failing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see it
Yeah.
though.
Which is why
Like,
I
men
said,
are trying to like basically
what I said.
Yeah.
Which is why I said what I said. A lot of people had this misconception that they are somehow going to be able to get away from this.
They're above it. Yeah.
You have to have to readdress this on a society wide plan. If you don't, then we may be facing catastrophic outcomes.
The world is changing faster than we know, and this
Yeah.
add this on top of it. Come on, man. And Kim Foster's not getting away from it because she can't find a man. She ain't got no family. Okay,
BGS.
Well,
BGS, I
she's
got
in a
something to tell you.
relationship now, BGS.
she ain't no
So-
goddamn relationship. She's paying. She's paying.
I know a red
Yeah, I
jet
was
when
about
I
to say-
see one.
Yeah, I was about to say, going back to what you guys were saying about
Wait. Okay, so Big Kev, I think Better You was gonna say something. Zulu, but if BGS want to jump in anytime he can. But yeah, y'all figure it out.
paying a goddamn concubine. You know that. You got to show it off.
I ain't say that. I ain't say that. You said that. I'm not saying I disagree with you, by the way. I didn't say I disagree. I'm just saying.
If you want to come for my neck, go ahead, Toots. I welcome it.
They call
She ain't gonna
religion
come for you.
nowadays, Mr. BGS.
She's regretting legitimizing Obsidian by saying something to him. So she definitely ain't gonna come after you, BGS. Go ahead.
I'll come for my neck, sweetie. I'm here.
she gonna try to send FD at your ass.
FD has backed out several times. What do you say? He don't want to talk to me, right?
BGS, I have a question though. Have
Yes,
you
sir.
ever been on a panel and seen one white woman on one side talking about matriarchy, and you got another white woman on the other side talking about patriarchy, and they out there fighting to the death on TikTok?
I just did a video called what? The white gynocracy, right?
Yeah, that shit was wild, bro.
What word did Fuentes use for the modern Western society? Right? He called it a gynocracy. Why do you think he did that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when you say that out loud, people be like,
Yeah.
"What?" I'd be like, "Yes, that's where we at right now."
He's
bro.
a white boy.
Well, Fuentes,
Yeah. A 24-year-old, mind you.
Fuentes is an amalgamation of the things that we've discussed already in another way. He's actually he's a racist that actually believes the same things that we do. The only difference is he's racist.
No, the thing is, he doesn't believe. He sees it. He lives it. He's 24. He's raised in it. He knows what the system's doing to his ass and his friends and his cohorts and his compadres. Right? He sees it. That's why he used that language. And you almost wanted to use the same language. Okay, what do you say? The system doesn't work for men and boys anymore, does it?
Nah.
He just said a stronger language than Reeves and Chetty.
As a matter of fact,
Galloway.
Reeves did mention Andrew Tate. He did say he's listening to Andrew Tate, and Andrew Tate makes good points, and then he just goes off the reservation. So yeah.
In other words, basically, all Reeves is Neo to Andrew Tate's
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith, yeah, Agent
And,
Smith.
Yeah. And it I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Go ahead. I lost it. I think Better You was up next.
Oh yeah, Better You than it was me.
And I'll say this too. I had to attend this intersectional event for work today. Not today, but early this week, where we had all our employee resource groups speaking. And one thing, actually a few things that really stuck out to me.
So what pronoun do you have to use?
I refuse.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That was half the whole thing. It drove me crazy, man.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Non-binary, oh God, Jesus, go ahead.
We ain't doing that, bro.
If you look at my big black ass and you like, yo, that's a Zimzer, she, he, anything but black, I'm whatever.
I'll be coming in. What pronoun you want? We.
They. It's well for. If you really on it, it's they. It's they them for like general stuff.
No. Fuck it.
Right.
We. What do you call me? Call me we, motherfucker.
we would probably be like, I guess that would be like if you're in a relationship with someone, instead of being like us, I guess it would be we. I don't know.
Nah,
This
we
thing gets real confusing.
I'm a we by myself, okay?
Oh, okay.
Exactly, bro. I'm a force to be reckoned with. I'm a team, bro.
Oh my
Anyway,
god.
go ahead, Betty. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
hold on. The biggest thing that stuck out to me was they kept talking about diversity in terms of hiring more women. And the thing that stuck out was it's
Exactly.
10 employee resource groups. They're having this panel with one representative from each group. It's 2 men, and literally it's 2 men, 1 Latina. The rest of the panel was Black women. And they're talking about resources and everything like that. And it was one of those things. I'm like, did y'all ever consider the intersectional argument, especially from a corporate context, for Black
No,
men?
they just
Because
don't
it's
care.
like
They
you
don't care.
have,
Uh-huh.
I like everything says that I know of it really says the opposite. Not so much that we shouldn't be doing anything for women, but like, hey, we need to be doing the same methods and same things for men, if not more, because they are so underrepresented, especially
Better
minority
you, are you
men.
trying to make sense?
Oh,
Even
I'm
better, you trying to make sense and do math.
So
Yeah, but we
How
don't
dare you,
care,
sir?
bro.
they all jump on you at one time?
oh no, I was
Oh,
only able to ask questions in the chat because it's like it's kind of like, yeah, they had the StreamYard panel and everything up there, but
Okay.
you know, I'm in the chat. I asked the question. It's like, yep, well, we're overtime 5 minutes. So
Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah.
it's like, yeah, I was
Did this
turning.
nigga just ask a question about Black men?
We
Nigga.
gonna turn this mother out.
But like I understand. Like I'm trying to figure out basically
Oh,
when
man.
you got a quote unquote mentality like that, right? A group of women like that, don't that basically just that culture end up self destructing and killing itself?
It will. It already is. It's already.
It's already
Okay,
it's already happening.
And
Yeah,
It's happening right before our very eyes.
Yeah,
That's why. By the way, go ahead, BGS. I got you.
Women would have to stop being hypergamous for it to work, and they're not.
Yeah.
Because
So-
And that's where Richard Reeves and them come in. Richard Reeves and them come in because they're like, oh shit, we're there's. I want to be very clear with what we're seeing. They're scrambling. They're in panic mode because this wasn't supposed to happen, especially not this fast. Men just taking their ball and going home was definitely not supposed to happen this fast.
Yeah,
And it's affecting the entire society. Exactly, the impact is so great. Like because you're getting the women in college, cool, whatever. Some of them are creeping into above middle management jobs, cool. And the men are saying, okay, fine, y'all can have that on too large of a scale. Go ahead.
No. You need to understand this. Like, right now, like I told you, I live in Georgia, bro. Right now, they just posting like right in front of my house. Right, they started posting just signs and signs of like $25 job, $30 job, whatever. Right? They just posted them on my.
And that's some good money.
Like, yeah, exactly. They just posted on my street, just like, hey, bro, we need this. Well, I'm gonna apply for one. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro, because extra money, my nigga, right? But it's just when you start looking at that, it's like, wow, it's really needed. And at the same time, like I was talking to one of the little Mexican dudes. He was just like, I ain't doing that shit. Why would I do construction work, bro? I don't get no play from this. I don't get no pussy from this, you know.
Ooh.
And then when you understand, like, when the Mexicans people who come from that's what they, they do currently. Like, I ain't gonna say it like that, but you know what I mean. Like,
we know what you say. No, and you're right.
Yeah. So when he started looking at that job with that kind of mentality, it's like,
yeah,
it's OV, bro.
Go, if you guys really want to know what it's like when people give up, when a nation gives up, go and read Atlas Shrugged. No, Atlas Shrugged.
Atlas Shrugged. Yeah,
because the whole society had given up.
Yeah.
The engine of the world had stopped. The whole society just gave up. They just sat there. They didn't want to work. They just sat there. Yeah. If they were hungry, they were hungry. If they're
Ayn Rand. Yeah. Ayn Rand. Yeah. Atlas Shrugged. That's the one where the elite said, okay, we're gonna take our ball and go home and go build our utopia over here, and all the rest of y'all could just languish and die and do whatever.
Whatever. So basically, in other words, I'm gonna stop the engine of the world. Basically,
yeah, literally
stopped, and people, and the government was trying to get resources to keep people, keep people alive, keep people going, and the people just say, you know what, I give up.
Yeah,
they just see place after place, town after town, section after section. People just gave up, and I think that's where we're headed. So go back and read Atlas Shrugged.
We're kind of already like
we're not there. We're not there. You would know.
Like, it's from what I'm seeing. Like, the men basically it's starting to hit. Like when we know that basically
No, you're right about that.
Starting to hit.
Yeah, it's starting to hit like it's starting to hit them in mass. Like I ain't gonna lie to you, me, I like busting motherfuckers bubble, so that's just like that.
But I mean, like that's because we're more in the know. I mean, like, okay, the Black Manosphere has had an impact. Don't get it misconstrued, but so many people are not in the know. They're living their daily life. They're not paying attention. All they know is, why is my nephew still on my sister's couch? Right? Or like, but they don't care to actually know. They're asking the question without really wanting to know an actual systemic, well-rounded answer. They just want him off the couch. But they're not paying attention. Wait, he's on my sister's couch, and my coworker was saying her son is on her couch, and my other coworker was saying his son is on the couch. He had to threaten to kick him out, and they're not thinking about that. And if they do, the most they come up with is like, oh, these lazy men, they just don't want to work, and they're not thinking about like, but why?
So it gotta fall. It gotta fall in that regard. That's the only solution that it can happen, because right now people are able to partake in miscellaneous activities that further, you know what I'm saying, do the entertainment that the Matrix ain't doing for them. But once that stops, and that's it. You know, it's not going to be people consciously withdrawing and making a stance to consciously withdraw. They're just going to say, fuck it.
And I'm so happy you said that. So in the Black Manosphere, we have conversations and we make it very overt. Like you just said, conscious. It's a conscious thought that we have. A lot of these boys and men, they're just feeling their way. They're like, but why would I do that? Right? So it's not so much a conscious thought. Exactly what Rogan should say. It's you haven't given them the incentive. I hate to say this, but most people, you just give them something to do and give them an incentive to do it, and give them the carrot at the end. But we've taken that away. So why would they do this?
You're giving it to the women. So no matter what I do, the women will always get it. Like that's like the diversity training, right? Okay. At the end of the day, they got tons of women already there, but guess what? The solution is hire more women.
Shout out to the 60-40 split in college. Anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you guys ever get a chance to, there's actually a 2-part a blog essay called "The Misandry Bubble" by this guy called
Imran you did Khan. Say that. Yep.
Yeah. You guys got to check it out. He basically, him and the other supporting authors, they basically mention a lot of this stuff. Is that basically, again, it's like when you're living in a society that devalues men and devalues masculinity, your society, is going to go to shit.
They finally cut off the manosphere. The manosphere was saying, the manosphere in general was saying that 15 years ago.
And it's called the Misandry Bubble, right? Correct? Is that a book? Is that a
It's an online blog essay. It's 2-part. There was one blog, it was posted in 2010, and another one that was posted in 2020.
Yeah.
So
2010. Yeah. That's how long ago it was.
Let me let AL go. AL, you got anything first?
Evening, gentlemen. I'm just in the wings, listening, observing, collecting data and understanding for this whole situation. BGS has been right on everything he's been speaking thus far. We're entering a quagmire of bullshit led by the hard-headed democracy that don't want to relinquish the realm and clutch balls that they got their hands into, and through their hard-headedness, this abyss that we're talking about, that BGS just mentioned, has certain countries and certain people just saying, I quit. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. But I digress.
Oh, yeah. And like, I want people to, let me give a little bit about my background. The reason why I'm able to analyze so much of ADOS culture the way I do as a child of immigrants is because we have a lot of the same things going on in the Haitian community and the Jamaican community and the Caribbean community. I'm telling people don't know. Go ahead, Zulu. Let them know. And Indigo Flow in the comments. Ask Indigo Flow.
Yeah, because bro, like I half my family from Florida, right?
Yeah.
So like Tallahassee, Miami,
Fort
Pierce area, like so.
Fort Pierce, yeah.
So I know Jamaicans, I know Haitians, bro, right? So I'm talking to and I'm seeing like similarities in their family structures. And I go over there, quote unquote, and I I go to that Jamaica and shit, and I'm seeing what these chicks doing. I'm like, oh yeah, bro. And when they told me 70% parental fraud rate, I was like, yeah, that shit ready to crash any minute now, bro. Because ain't no way in hell, bro.
Like, but it's a different. I mean, we do have 10 toes down boss hog men that lead their families, but it's pretty much the same like in Black American community where you have those people, but the overall structure is still leans gynocratic, right?
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
might have these one-off families where that one individual uncle or that one individual grandfather or even your father is that he's that man in the family structure or in the relative structure, but outside of that, like the everything else is
Matriarch.
grandma, right? Exactly, or the eldest sister, right? And like, trust me, man, man.
And the more American,
bro.
the more
Yeah.
Americanized that they become, the more greater the effect it's going to
No,
have.
no, I'm not just
So
saying that here though, Rogish. I'm saying even
no,
back
no,
home.
I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about in the world, cuz
Oh, yeah,
look,
yeah, yeah.
when Americanization happens, it is the popular culture ethic
Hmm.
that tends to taint foreign cultures.
Yeah, that's
I
a
don't
good
know,
point.
but I'm starting to see like I'm a Ugandan man, right? So I'm damn near adopted, right? So like I'm seeing these folks like culturally, like I'm seeing the men and the women pushing back on that U.S. culture shit. Like they had like I'm watching like an interview with some white guy. They sent the white guy go over the conversation with him, and them kids were getting like in his ass, right? So I'm seeing like with other people's culture, they already got like natural defenses that's already up, right?
I can agree with that.
So
I
for them,
think there's
it's not
that.
as bad. Like so like they can handle it. Like I said, like I think certain tribes in Uganda, I think are matriarchal or matrilineal or some matrilineal,
Mhm.
some matrilineal, right? So when I'm looking at that, like they got their own natural defenses. Like they be like, I saw one girl, she was like, "Oh, they don't respect they men. I could never do that. I'm not on that shit, right?" And it just some regular Uganda lady. And she was like, "Oh, no, I can't do that shit, right?" So I'm starting to see like the women over there are having like they're seeing some shit, but they're kind of like only people that's really having these kind of issues like the upper echelon chicks, right? The chicks that got, that's got, she making I got a couple $100,000
But those are the people, Zulu. I can't remember the name of this sister, African sister. I want to say she's Nigerian descent, but I'm not certain. And she's like this super feminist, but she's heterosexual, but super hardcore feminist. And like she's bringing that shit to the continent. And she's charismatic and she's witty. And I'm like,
So
but
this was
like you were just saying, wait, real quick, PK.
yeah.
It's the same type of people that PK is describing. It's like that elite group of I went
women.
to Ivy League or second tier schools in the US and I've been socialized and educated a certain way and now I'm gonna bring that back home as a air
Yep.
quotes liberator, right? And go
Nah,
ahead, PK.
the problem is though is running smack
Real quick. Real
Okay,
quick,
go ahead.
Zulu. So this isn't something that's unique to just Africa. This
Facts.
isn't unique to any individual country or continent. What happens is this is the prevailing mindset that comes out of really the West in general. And once this prevailing mindset gets transferred from what the fuck? Sorry, I was just saying some dumb shit. But once it gets transferred from that class, because it primarily comes, I don't know if people are aware of this or not. I know BGS has talked about it. I've talked about it a little bit.
Mhm.
What's going on is that it came from the top and it's filtered down. People believe that it happened the other way around. I'm not a believer of that idea.
It's
The
actually
way that it,
it's actually both. It's actually both. But go ahead.
so what ended up happening is that you had people, women, particularly of the aristocratic class, that filtered this out to the lower classes, and that's how they ended up adopting it. And so what happens is they transport this from country to country, and continent to continent. That's how that happens. And so this particular set of ideas, generally, it runs up against a natural barrier, which is their own culture. But if they can get a group of women to push it over a prolonged period of time and push it to the masses, eventually it becomes an accepted idea. When it becomes an accepted idea, they start to change over parts of their country to match it. And if the men agree to it, then my God, we
It's over.
that's how you get here. You know, you
The-
don't have the problems immediately, but they crop up over time.
It can only happen when the infrastructure changes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
The environment, the feminism, and this kind of shit is an effect. It's not a cause. It never was.
Like I was saying, like when you go to Africa, right? When them chicks, like I don't remember if I told you the story today. Like I was over there with an African chick, and I had to move like a tree. I had to move, and she looked at me like I was God. It's green, thing, the earth or some shit. And I'm looking at her like it's just a tree. Like when I tell you, bro, when you out there in Uganda and all of a sudden it rains so goddamn hard, and all of a sudden you ain't got power. That bitch ain't got that kind of quote unquote. Oh my God, she can't really buck that, right? You know what I mean? You got there fuck, right? And she understand that goddamn this is a vastly different individual place, right? So she gotta be more careful and whatnot. But like in America, where you get all these free
conveniences and luxuries,
luxuries, safety nets, all kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think it's more affected of safety.
Nobody starves here. Okay, you might be homeless, but nobody starves here.
Look at the countries that we're describing, right? That this is taking a hold of. America, Canada, Britain, France, Japan, South Korea, definitely not North Korea. Whoa. Brazil, right? I heard it's starting to make its way through Brazil. Like, look at the nations that we're saying that Germany, Norway, Sweden, Finland. Look at the nations that we're saying have adopted this way of thinking. It's very advanced societies, like BGS said. People ain't starving, right? High-speed internet, all of that good stuff. So that's where you have this type of stuff. Yeah, running water, no rolling blackouts, stuff like that. Go ahead.
Like I said, the problem.
Big Kev, go ahead.
The problem again. The reason why that why it affects a lot of these countries so much is because again is as the Ezra Nazarenas pointed out again, it's the problem is that in these quote unquote westernized countries, you keep trying to promote the idea that a woman have or basically have a right to be lazy and entitled. It's not the freedom that's causing the problems. It's not the freedom and the choice and the lack of starvation that's the problem. The problem is that you're giving these women no. Wait.
Host talking. Wait. BJ, let him land with that because I actually got it. I think I know where he's gonna go, and I think me and PK got the answer to that. Yeah.
The problem isn't the freedoms. The problem isn't the freedoms. The problem is you keep trying to separate the duties and responsibility from the freedoms. You're giving these women freedoms and rights, but you're not giving them the associated duties with it. Because as we've said before, the concept of women being allowed to vote, divorce, own property, et cetera, is not new. Many indigenous tribes have been doing it for thousands of years, and they've been able to maintain a strong culture. The reason why it is because, again, those women, despite having those freedoms, they still had a duty to their family, to their spouse, to their tribe, etc. What we've done in Western society is that we've decoupled, those freedoms and privileges from rights, responsibilities, and duties, and that's the reason why something like an ideology like feminism can take effect so easily. So
okay, Big Kev, let me do this. I want PK to go because I think PK know the term that I want to use, and then BGS come in and nuke everything. PK, what are you thinking when you hear Big Kev say that just now? What came to your mind?
Hang on, man. I'm actually pulling into my stop, so
oh God, okay. All right, then go ahead, BGS. Because I heard negative liberty. I heard their women want all the pluses, and our society wants to give it to them without all of the, like you said, obligations that come with that. So I just heard negative liberty. That's what I just heard you describe. But go ahead, BGS.
In other words,
I call that slavery.
Negro, how long can you have freedoms and stuff like that if you can't eat?
Well,
not long.
How long?
I don't know. Can you eat freedom?
No.
3 days.
I want to know.
Like
How
a week?
How long can you privilege without eating?
2 weeks, a week.
3 days, basically.
Boy, I'm skinny, bro. 2 weeks.
I want to know.
3 days.
If you have to work to eat, okay?
Mm-hmm.
How long can you be privileged and not do anything? Have responsibilities. How long can you do that?
Not long, man.
No, I'm asking you.
Said that
30 days, like you said. Then so let's go 30 days.
Wait, don't kick the chair. Don't kick the chair. BGS actually Big Kev a question.
Kev, how long can you do that?
Yeah, like you said, not very long. Like you said, like a month. You could technically only survive about a month before dying of starvation.
So if you're out on a farm, right? We have to grow food, okay? You don't have all these conveniences like electricity, running
Mm-hmm.
water and stuff like that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to plow that land. And you got to do all this kind of stuff that to keep this farm going. Guess what you're gonna get with that if you want to eat? Called responsibility.
Yep.
Who's gonna feed you if you don't work? If you don't do something, if you don't earn your keep?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
So
Because
what's
I'm
more
saying, like, yeah.
so what's more important? Is it the environment that you live in, or the privileges that people give you? What's more
Definitely
important?
the privileges.
It's the environment.
It's the
Yes,
environment.
that's what
Their
I'm saying.
privileges wouldn't exist without the
In other words, you don't hell, you don't even get you don't without the environment actually shaping it. You don't even get the social contract, which actually gives feminism as we see it is nothing but the social contract, man, because that didn't exist before Napoleon. It didn't exist.
Yeah.
Because Napoleon needed to gather his army.
Yeah.
Because all these amateur weapons, right? He had a citizen army, one of the first citizen armies in the world, right? That went all over Europe. What do you have to give? What do you have to do to them for them to actually follow him?
Give them rights and money.
He give them rights and privileges, right? Rights, money, privileges, stuff like that. That's what he had to do, right? And he kicked ass all the way into Russia. Okay.
Yeah.
And guess what everybody else said? Unless we want this to happen again, guess what we got to do?
The same thing.
Same thing, okay? It's called amateur weapons, okay? Otherwise, you would not have voting rights. You would not have independent rights, individuality, all that kind of stuff. You still have a king.
Individuality is a luxury.
It's a luxury.
That definitely is luxury.
So I was going to say, and I'm back here.
So even with voting rights, okay? Go back to ancient society where they have voting rights, right? Okay?
PK, you come in after BGS. Go ahead, BGS.
Yep.
Even when they had voting rights, say they had voting rights back then, was that important? Yes, probably important a little bit, but guess what they still had to do?
Eat.
Survive.
They still have to work. Yep.
And they had to work the land, gather the water, take care of the kids, and they had to depend on that guy. It's called a social contract between the two sexes, right? How do you organize people? Even marriage is a social contract, right? It's not given from God on high. It's a social contract. We need to raise these kids because we need to actually what? Human resources. How do we get them if they can't survive? The kids got to survive.
Let me pause you right here,
BJ. Go ahead. All right.
No, let me pause because you know exactly what you're. Because I want to go to this social contract thing, and the problem that I would argue that FD Signifier and Richard Reeves and is where we don't want to. We're not going to give you the old social contract. That's not going to happen. But we don't know what's coming down the pike or what the new thing is. So could you just still play your role without like the other side playing their role? Because they're doing their own thing. And like that's what it seems like they're saying. It's like we can't promise you that, but we could just do your thing. Why can't you just do your thing still? Right?
Yeah,
and let me read these super chats real quick and then y'all go. W says, good show so far. Thank you very much, sir. And Afro National says gender roles become very clear at that point. When the struggle get real, gender roles become real serious. And he's right.
Real. That's why they come back to the table.
So BGS, Zulu, and then whoever want to count, whatever. Okay. Oh yeah. So BGS, PK, and then Zulu.
You're pulling up into your spot, Negro.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is true. But I was gonna say, man, like these social roles are mandatory in a natural environment because these libertarian concepts can't exist in full, not in full, without a procurement of enough resources to justify giving more agency to the individual. That's why they came about in the 18th century to the extent that they did. So what ended up happening prior was you had, ramblings of these sorts of ideas, but they would be quelled. So what we got now is, unfortunately, these libertarian concepts where people believe that they can be free agents without any sort of reciprocation to the rest of society. And this happens at the bottom and the top and the middle right now because of how we structured this. Where people believe that they don't owe anything to their fellow man or to the full society. You can't have that. And unfortunately, feminism as a concept is right in line with essentially completely eschewing the idea that you owe anything outside of the self. So that's you can't it on its face it cannot coexist with any semblance of a productive, happy, healthy society. Not one that exists over a long term. It cannot. It has to be destroyed.
It has to be
But
destroyed.
don't we live in a society that much of what people want? Because when I listen to people talk, they do a lot of lip service to community and society, particularly in the black community. But
Oh,
what I really hear is like this. But I don't really want to be obligated to you Negroes,
yeah, exactly. Bro.
right? Like I don't really want to. Like I want it to be convenient to
When it's
be.
convenient for me, you know.
Exactly. When it's convenient, I'll do a little speech and mention, black people that help me here and there. But for the most, I don't actually want to be obligated to you, Negro. So, like, going to what PK is saying, when I hear people, and not just black people, when I hear people talk, the whole point is to be that hyper individual, is to not, you don't want to be obligated to the society, and you don't want to have that responsibility to do more than worry about you and yours, your immediate circle, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'll pause right there. Go ahead, yo.
Okay. Can I go?
Oh, it was Zulu, and then Better You,
No,
and then free fall
BGS
after.
first. I just wanted to
Oh,
ask.
BJS, you want to say something?
But
I'll just say this, man.
Mhm.
Basically, you want to be an individual, right? And do what you want, right? But not the next guy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
I want to run the red light, but not you.
Well,
Bro,
we both run the red light.
What
right.
happens when we both run the red light?
We die.
We die, right? I don't want to
For
obey the
real.
laws. I want to be hyper individual, but not you.
Mhm.
You have to service me. You have to obey
Yep.
the laws, pay your
Yep.
tax, all this kind of stuff, right? But not me.
Oh, let me tell you this something, right? So what I basically like, so I was talking to some of my Ugandan homies, right? And he was basically having a small conversation. And basically what the issue that's going on over there is like they have diary system, right? Or bride price, whatever you want to call it, right? The dude's not paying they're paying diary, but they're not really trying to pay diary. Like in South Africa, it's getting bad because it's like you a single mother, you talking about pay a diary for what?
No,
Why?
for what? Yeah.
Why? You like I already know you out here fucking. I already know you're out here having babies. Not only with us, but with other dudes necessarily from other ethnic groups around the world, white guys and shit like that. You talking about diary, bitch? Like, nah, bro, nah.
That's because the very concept of the bride price and the reason that it came about was for the fact that the parents were supposed to have protected her purity, that they raised her up into an upright woman. That was the purpose for it.
Yeah.
Let me say this real quick, and then Better You.
It was a gift to the family for raising the woman properly.
It wasn't
Yeah,
a gift. It's an exchange of resources because you exchange of resources. Her womb belongs to you now instead of the family.
And like you got to really see it because like these ladies are basically trying like look South African, they trying to really like run it back. They're like, oh man, so and so, but them dudes like, hey, we here now, bro. You just ain't like they ain't about to be like we wife another baby mama number 2 and shit, and we about to make
Let me say this real quick to go to something BGS said a minute ago about us running the light, right? It's the concept of it's not might makes right. It's you do what you can and I do what I want. Yeah, I don't know where people get this crap from as regular everyday people. If you uber rich and wealthy, then maybe you can get away with certain things I can't get away with. But if you 80, 70 grand in down person, we pretty much you can buy nicer things than me. But everybody outside of that, all of us are doing what we can do. Ain't nobody in this mother is doing what you want to do all the way, right? And go ahead, Better You.
Now I got something for that point.
Better. Okay, Better You go, and then you go, Zulu. Go ahead, Better.
So, with everything that's been said, I know this probably will get a few folks riled up, but this is late stage capitalism. The individual takes precedent over everything, even the state itself. And this is the part where capitalism becomes unfettered. It becomes untenable, even for those who are well off, and we would quote unquote say it's winning the game of capitalism to where even they start to get aid. And at that stage, what you get is this rugged hyper individualism where it is bootstraps, and
the idea of it, but not
the action. That in real practice. Not
doing it in practice, bro. Like, but I'm gonna say
anybody.
Right. Well,
say it again.
so SBV Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real. But go ahead and land that better you because you going somewhere with this. I like this. You talking me and PK's language right now. Go ahead.
Nah, because real talk, this is one of those things. I wouldn't say that the rights that women have in certain things is the problem. The problem is the society. The problem is that we have progressed so far down this road that it's pulled families apart, and it's going to pull society apart if you don't make the effort to go trust busting, to make society. Oh yeah,
What the fuck is trust busting?
It's breaking up like the big banks. Like you remember during the recession when they were like the banks are too big to fail, so you got to break them up, break up Apple, break up Facebook with Instagram and WhatsApp, like all those big companies that also have like these subsidiary companies that it's like exactly, and so five companies own a whole entire industry. Yeah, you got to break that shit. Yeah, you got to rid of that shit. Yeah,
you got to keep some checks. You want to promote competition, but you don't want to let it get to the point of a monopoly. Or
near monopoly.
Monopoly or monopoly.
You know when late-stage capitalism
like it's going to create a bunch of unnecessary problems.
When late-stage capitalism actually happened, when they actually exported 70% of the manufacturing base to China. That's when it happened.
Yeah.
It happened in the 90s. It didn't happen now. This is capitalism has been over in the United States. Okay.
Oh no, we're progressing into it. You're right.
No. It's over already. No, they ship 70% of your manufacturing to China for a cheaper price. That's capitalism, sir.
I'll give you an example. Okay, so how many cable companies are there in the country? Like the big dogs. Was it like 5 or 6?
5 or 6.
Goddamn,
you see what I'm saying?
Motherfucker, I can get.
You see what I'm saying?
They used to have one phone company. Okay.
You know, so we went. So when we talk about that, like that's what we're talking about. So that also does affect your actual social sphere, by the way. So for those of you that don't understand why what Better You was saying ties into your whole relationship thing, is because that actually affects all of this thing is tied together, right? Because the women get to tap into and actually this is how the corporations did the whole we're people too shit, right? And they've sued more for more civil rights things than actually black people have over the past, what they said, 50 years? No, not 50 years. Over the past couple of decades, I want to say at least, they've sued more than we've sued. Understand what I said? Corporations have sued more than black people have sued. That's where we at, right?
Okay, so I had a question right now. I think I remember you saying necessarily. I think we say in a society where I do me, you do me, and I do what I can, basically, right? So I think that's what the women are doing, right? They're doing what they can. So if she can quote unquote cheat on you and drop 2 babies on you, instead of you not know it, she will do that, right? Mm-hmm. So that's where these things start to tear up necessarily, and quote unquote, like I would say the good faith that some men would have, right? Yeah. So when you have that mixed in with quote unquote rugged individualism. I'm doing me type of shit, all that combined. Oh nah, bro. That's when you start seeing that. Like, I ain't gonna say men start becoming malice, but it's like, that's balance. I think that's the right word, malice.
Right, there would be no child support or alimony.
Say it again.
Yeah, you'd be on an island. You wouldn't need child support, alimony, none of that.
Child support, alimony, any of the safety nets. We don't have that.
I'll say this.
Individualism. Actually, they're leaning on the Leviathan, which is the state dependent.
That's why BGS said earlier they don't actually mean it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like you said. Yeah. Like it's like you said, it's a bunch of virtue signaling. And again, going back to what me and BGS were talking about, again, is the problem is that when you separate the rights from the responsibilities, this is what you get. Yeah. That's pretty much all that's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, I don't know how many of. What are you actually taught in civics? Well, wait, before you even get to that, we how many of us were really taught civics in middle school? Like, did you really get it? Never. You see what I'm saying? Did you really? Do you really understand like civic engagement and like doing more than just voting during election time, right? Never. Or pushing on your Congress members, right? And leaning on them and going to like the everything from your HOA meetings to, because I've been to meetings. I've sat down with I literally knew my local Congress member, literally, right? It's weird because I actually kind of look like him in real life, so people think we're like related. We're not. But like that's what I'm saying. So if you don't really. No, I'm no,
Bro,
not even.
bro, I
I'm
got to
not like a
stand the
punk.
package too, bro. So trust me, I get
Right.
the same thing.
Right. So like, and because we don't actually engage in that, I think that's how you allow the corporations to be able to sue for more civil rights than black people. That's how you also get the no fault divorces under Reagan. Don't forget, right? So like you get all of these things happening because we're not actually paying attention to how these things tie in, and the end of the unions, which actually affects your family because then that puts you in out here in the world with only the corporations and no safety net, and they could fire you for your shoelaces being the wrong color. And me and Better you
Yeah.
spoke about this before.
Yeah.
All of that shit tie in. And remember, women
Well, I
divorce
want to
men.
slide this.
Hold
I want
on.
to slide
Real
this
quick,
back when you get
one more
done.
thing. One more thing. Remember when we talked about divorce with one of the most peak times when you get divorced is after the man's been unemployed for so long.
Mhm.
Well, what happens when you lose so many union jobs where it was hard to fire your ass, and now you in the private sector where they can fire you, and you live in a right to work state or a at will state where they can fire you for anything. You
Oh,
see how that
bro,
then affects your marriage?
bro,
You see
that,
what
that
I'm
shit.
saying? So yeah, continue.
Yeah.
Better you, and then wait, somebody was trying to say something before Better you.
That's
That
PK.
was
Yeah,
me. I was just gonna say,
Okay.
civics in general
Okay.
is something that has to be part. Really, it wasn't meant.
Who's in the background shooting with their own
I
Nintendo
don't
system?
know. I
What is
don't
that?
know.
They
Who's
playing
playing
Duck
It's
Duck
Hunt,
Hunt
bad.
man.
with Nintendo? Somebody playing Duck Hunt
What is
with their
that?
own Nintendo.
What is that?
I know that's PK. Stop PK. Stop playing.
Right.
No, I don't know what the fuck
That
that
gotta be
is.
AB.
Stop
Is that
it.
AB?
That gotta be AB. Did you bring back your Nintendo and you playing Duck Hunt? What's going on?
No, that wasn't me. That's not me playing.
Oh,
Who is that?
Hey, Mr. Z, hey,
go
could
ahead.
you be sure to keep the StreamYard link pinned in the comment section? I gotta step off the panel, but
Go ahead. Go
thank you
ahead. Go
guys.
ahead.
That was Big Kev.
I'll put it up. I'll put it up a few more times. Go ahead.
I got a
All right,
question.
but so I was gonna,
finish that statement.
I was just gonna say real quick. I got you, bro. I'll be quick. The way that civics, I guess, currently works is that most of the people, your oligarchs and the people who are, you have to have enough time freedom to engage in that to its fullest extent. The full ramifications of that and the responsibility component involved in it. You can't be a poor person looking for your boots to pull yourself up by your bootstraps with, trying to engage in civics and have any significant impact. It's just not
Yep.
possible
Yep.
anymore. We've constructed a system in which essentially the people with money are making the decisions here. Okay. So that just is what it is. If you're looking for any substantive change to happen, unfortunately, it isn't going to come from doing your civic duty anymore because most people, your common man, is no longer involved in civics, in the civics exercise. Unfortunately, that's
Are you
being
saying that the
exercised
common
by
man
people
got
at the
priced
top of
out?
the class.
No, the
Yeah, we're
common man
priced
got put
out
on
of
the
that.
plantation, bro. That's what happened. The
They got
common
bought
man
out.
got
That's
put on
where
the
they're at.
plantation.
Yeah.
That's
That's
how I
where
look
we're
at it.
at right now. So
Yeah,
they're
the common man
currently
got bought
working
out
to pay for their yeah,
for the
they
American
got
dream.
everything
You
out.
know what
They're
the
out.
Rogish? Wait a minute, PK. Rogish actually said it a better way than I did. I said they can't afford it, but no, Rogish said they got bought out. Okay, PK,
Yeah.
finish up, and I want Rogish to go into that because I want to see where he go with that. Go ahead, finish up, PK.
So unfortunately, what you're looking for, and really in this country, many of those unions and everything that you're talking about, that
Mhm.
didn't come out of nowhere, man. That didn't come until roughly early
Mm,
1900s, bro.
Yeah. Well,
That's
really, when
really
they
where
really
that's
start
where
to culminate, yeah. The late 19th century is really when you really start getting unionization, and in the early 20th century. Yeah. You're right. It didn't come out of nowhere. Go ask the Pinkertons. Oops.
Ooh.
yeah, it came. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to talk about that. You had to, not you, but the common
Mhm.
man had to fight and
Literally,
die for that.
literally.
And so they've worked very hard
Hmm.
to make the American populace docile. They've worked
Yeah,
very hard at this
yeah.
for a long
So can I
time now, and we've gotten to a point now where people aren't willing to put this particular group of people here in America aren't willing to die for that anymore, and they've been priced out of civics. So unfortunately, you're left up to the whims of the ruling class, the ruling elite here,
That's
and
why
so you get the outcomes that you get.
That's why
Wait a minute.
Pascal
Before
Robert calls it real quick, Roger. That's why Pascal Robert calls it the 50-year counter-revolutionary movement, and that's why I tell people to go look up the Lewis Powell memo, where they really like the elites literally were like, "Yo, we tired of all this LGBTQ black tree hugger anti-war movement thing going on. We gotta sew this thing back up." And 50 years later, go ahead, yo, go ahead, Rogan.
So my thinking is the earlier citizenry had a quality to it that was eroded through what? Convenience, right? So this is why I say
Good point. Good point.
that the civic duties or the civic participation has been bought out by the American dream, which is the illusion, the same thing that they sell everybody else in the world to get them to, want to participate.
Give me your rights for these conveniences.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
I mean, just because that's what I call the foreign folks into accountability over when you see them just, Oreoing themselves out, if you will. People think that, that talking white thing, it is a thing, but you see everybody doing it. People think that that's just a, a slur against black people or whatever. It's like, no, wait a minute, everybody do it when when they shift out of whatever their cultural norm is. So it's like, what element of value are you permitting to be the measurement of your reality, and where do you fit in the sustenance of being real with that?
By the way, Rogan,
playing the role.
By the way, I think me and you see the same thing when it comes to the talking white thing, because we're not just talking about a sister that's from Alabama that adopts the Valley Girl voice, right? We're also talking about, like, what are the concepts coming out of your mouth? How are you reasoning what you seeing? And for me, when I say talk white, which I rarely say, like, that's not something I often say, but when I do say it, I'm not just talking about the way you're sounding. I'm also talking about, like, oh, so you reasoning like that? Okay, yeah, that's some white shit.
Where do they learn it?
Yeah, well, the Prussian school system, and I know the socialization.
I had this argument with pro-blacks like 20 years ago, right? Talking this shit, right? I don't want them to adopt the white man's values, and I don't want them.
Too late for that.
Get socialized.
Too late for that.
What do I say? Okay, where do you send them to school?
Well,
exactly.
Exactly.
Why don't you homeschool them? Okay. No, well, we can't, because we got to work. We got to maintain a lifestyle.
Well,
shut the fuck up.
If I can say this real quick.
Wait,
go ahead.
Wait, let me get this straight.
AB and then better you. Go ahead.
Let me get this straight, BGS. You gave them the solution. They literally said.
I'm talking about a hardcore conscious community, black nationalists talking shit about their kids and what they learn and then be socialized in, right? You send them to the goddamn white man school. What do you expect to come out on the other side? And you're not dumbass. You have to give up something.
Watch this. 30 years later, slavery ain't that serious, man. I think we be playing too much, man. And I think it was a choice. Slavery was a choice.
I'll tell you what is the difference between what that white girl said has been.
No, I'm not even talking about her. I'm talking about Kanye.
I know. I'm going somewhere with this, right?
Okay, go ahead.
We're getting upset at what's her name? Pearly, right, for saying that shit, right? When your kids believe the same goddamn
I agree.
thing.
Yep.
What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, we gonna get upset because she said slavery wasn't that bad. Yo, kids say the same goddamn thing.
Yep.
Same thing. What are you talking about? That's what pisses me off. What the fuck are you guys talking about? You send your kids to this goddamn school and then complain about what comes out on the other end. Shut the fuck up or do something. Shit.
Hey, nothing make me madder than when and so in full agreement with BGS on this. That
me too. Yeah.
I really think we're between a rock and a hard place with this thing.
A rock and a hard place. You make a goddamn decision.
You have to make a decision. It's like everybody's trying to do, like you say, burn the candle at both ends. You can't burn the candle at both ends. I learned that shit from grandma. But like
this true. I guess this is like this is why some certain people were so happy and gun ho when the Umar school proposals looked like it was actually a thing.
I got happy when that first happened originally.
Yeah, because it's really this is
I
one of the
see it.
negatives of integration, right? This is one of the negatives, which is like your children, black children, coming back into the scene saying, yeah, on some Kanye shit. Really, on some like, yeah, slavery, it was a choice. It was a choice.
But
You know.
that's only because you don't have an established culture, and you can see that the established
And
society
school.
This
already
is this
rejects
is
it.
your this is your
Yeah.
culture.
And,
This is
well,
your
okay, but wait
culture,
a
This is
minute.
bud.
your culture.
Wait a minute. If it was, then it would be more accepting of young black children. That
No,
motherfucker
that's not how
reject
that
young black
works.
That's not
children.
how it
So
works.
as a young, well, let me finish my point. As a
Go ahead.
young black child, you get an understanding. All right, well, this society definitely rejecting of me in some form or fashion. All right, well, what is the reason? Then the
I guess
skin
your
color
culture
shit
built
come
around
up,
you.
and then, huh?
I guess you know what you mean to say a culture that's built around you.
Exactly, because you know that the larger part of society ain't embracing you. So it's like, let me try to put myself together with what? Whatever little bits and pieces we got. We got music, we got the way we speak, we got the way we dress. All right, let's see if there's a history to that. And then you go back down the timeline. And it shows you, all right, there was definitely an establishment of some, that's even subculture of black people who
I
in
hear you say.
blackness, whatever they want to
You
call
Yeah.
it, but it
you
was
know
there was never nothing that was enriched of.
you know where your
Mm,
culture was formed and how it was formed.
mm.
You know how it's formed. Your place in this culture is where you're at,
The bottom.
the
The,
bottom, designed
the,
to be at the bottom.
Yeah. That's
This
why I
is your
call it the
culture.
permanent underclass. That's exactly why I call it the
No,
permanent
that's
underclass.
saying. I said, when
Hmm
you gonna tell them the truth?
Praise the Lord.
I asked him, when you gonna tell them the truth? Okay, when you gonna tell them the truth? You were
Mm,
designed to be the underclass. He said, you
hmm
don't do something, you'll be the permanent underclass.
hmm
That's what he meant. You're already there.
hmm
Yep,
I
and I
talked to
don't
him. I
blame
asked
him
him
for
straight up, Claude, when you gonna tell them the truth? The last time I saw him, that was like 3 years ago. When you gonna tell them the truth?
I don't blame Cloud for not
Never.
talking now.
mm.
Never. They don't ever want to tell the truth about this. That's the issue with a lot of these pro blacks, man. They don't want to tell the truth. Unfortunately, there's only one. I mean, you can have a multitude of answers to this, but personally, my belief is that if you want to get out of this situation and you're black in this country and you see what's happening, man, you really got one choice, and you need to be a boat nigga. Okay, like
Everybody,
that's kind of where
every,
you at.
everybody, especially on YouTube, claims pro black. Man, none of these motherfuckers are pro black. I was just
What
at
does
a
that
pro
even
black
mean on
event.
YouTube?
I mean, huh?
What does that even mean on YouTube?
I study what other people have said. Okay, I read some
Mhm.
of the books. Get some of the talking points and go online and push it. That's why I
Hey,
feel.
Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, you
And your
know my
book, I
name.
was just at a pro black event with my mentor yesterday with those people, right?
hmm
Ain't none of them on YouTube, right? All the
mm
old schools and some of the young schools, they ain't on YouTube.
mm
What the fuck are they talking about? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm getting tired of this shit. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You ain't pro black. You think you are. You ain't pro black. You think you are.
Hey,
Because you ain't
BGS,
in
you
this shit.
know.
I've been in this shit for
Oh,
30 years with these people, right? I don't hear none of that shit come out. Okay. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm getting tired of this
hmm
shit.
They don't.
I was just there. I was just there yesterday for like 3 hours at an event, okay, with 600 of these people, okay, pro black,
mm
where they sell black books and all these people are black authors and shit like that. I was just there. I ain't see none of y'all niggas there.
mm.
Where y'all at? What events do you go
I'm on
to?
I'm on the boat. I was on the boat.
What events do you go
She
to?
getting her nails done, bro. She getting her nails done, man.
Who's your mentors? Okay,
don't trust
where
no
you come
boats.
from? All these niggas talking shit. Who your mentors? What events do you go to? What organization do you belong to? Where's your antecedents? Where's your history?
Like,
Everybody
share,
talk shit.
subscribe for the
Everybody talk
BGS
shit to
rant.
me about
yeah.
being pro-black. I don't hear none of that shit.
They
You
just
don't know
mean
what the
Yeah.
fuck
program
you
accuracy. That's
talking
what I
about.
usually hear, bro. Like when
Wait,
I
do
hear
y'all think
people
a
say, I
nigga's
usually
talking on some
like,
pro black shit first and
What,
foremost? Ain't nobody talking on pro black shit.
Don't
no,
even try
I'm
that
saying,
with
but
me.
no,
what,
how is you? I mean, we're saying like how is you? And when I hear people say it pro black, like
Oh,
when
okay.
I hear a black woman say that, she's usually saying pro matriarchy, bro. Like, that's usually
Uh,
what I'm hearing, bro.
hence the
The
what,
reason.
black community is a matriarchy. What are you gonna
That's
do
what I'm
about it?
saying. And I'm like, I'm not down with that, so it's not.
Well,
So,
then,
Hence the
well, then
re-
you have
what?
to lead. You have to lead the community, sir.
oh, I did. That's the plan, though. Like
That's why PK said he's on the boat.
Gotcha.
I'm voting this bitch. That's
The
not.
thing is, how do you make the matriarchy actually work for people? It doesn't matter what the system is. How do you make it work for people? Work for the boys. That's what we're trying to do. Convince these heifers to make you're in charge. You want to be in charge. Make it work for everybody, just like we would. Instead of trying to make us food.
Wow, I like
otherwise get left behind. Don't complain when you get left behind. That's why I agree with people. Get your passport, get on the board. They ain't gonna change.
Yeah, that's
Get
what I'm
out.
saying. Like,
Yeah, they ain't gonna change.
they're having panels where they're basically saying on TikTok right now, it was like the matriarchy need to stay in power. That's literally what I'm.
Now, at least they admit it.
from
At least
TikTok
they admit it
basically.
now, because they wouldn't admit it for like 70 years. Okay.
Yeah.
At least
So
they
like,
admit it now.
so like now you so when you basically when you got and they got like 300 people in the chat. So when you know that's what they basically coming with, it's like at this point you just go ahead and let it burn. I'll talk to the other guy.
That's what I was about to say. Let it burn. If that's their position, let it burn.
And in other words, what are you gonna give us to stay? We need
nothing. That's the whole point.
No. If they
You don't want to stay no more.
They can't maintain it without you. What are they?
Yeah.
What kind of benefits are they gonna give you to stay?
No, nothing. That's what FD comes in. That's what
nothing. That's what they tell you. I just came off the talk with these people.
Then what's happening is going to continue happening and happen for even faster.
Yeah.
Okay, let me say this to be because I don't know if BGS was listening when I said this. So
let me jump in when you get it finished.
Okay. I'm be out the way in like 60 seconds. FD just put out a video where he was speaking about these Negroes don't speak for us, so they don't represent us. And I would implore you to watch that BGS because he spends about a good maybe 40 to 60% of the time speaking about maybe 20 minutes long, 10, 15, something like that. It wasn't that long. It wasn't no hour long. Yeah. So he speaks about the part I'm really focused on, and I would like for you to listen to, is where he speaks about harm reduction. And he goes in this weird way of essentially describing intersectionality all over again, but not calling it that, which is like, okay, black men, okay. You're going through your own thing, but it pales in comparison to what black women are going through under the umbrella of patriarchy. And so you got to consider harm distribution, right? So that's how they're speaking now.
So how are they going to distribute the harm?
So so I'm addressing what you said about what are they going to do to incentivize us? They don't have anything. That's what this is for.
So you're begging us to sacrifice ourselves. That's what you're doing.
Yes. That's what me and Zulu are saying.
Yes. Between him and the pro-black, so-called pro-black.
And like
nothing. Not here. Not on disrespect.
Like think about.
I said that a while ago. You think you're looking at two different pictures, but it's the same picture.
After PK, AB was trying to go. Go ahead, AB, and then you Zulu. Go ahead.
Let me get in.
Oh, okay. AB. Okay, let's do this. AB. Better you and then Zulu. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, Mr. Z, I'm sorry. I got to put this out. If FD signifier is their way to reel us back in, that's just like putting gasoline on the fire.
Yeah,
it is.
Who listens to that? I'm trying to figure out. Wait a minute.
No, he got his subscriber base. And on a side note to that, go ahead. Yeah.
Let me
not
finish.
Black, they're white. Okay.
Now tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
What pookie that figure out what's going on one league gonna listen to FD signifier?
Oh no, ain't nobody. No. That he not pulling none of those brothers. None of those brothers. And by the way, BGS, if it's not on his main channel, it might be on his FD B side, FD signifier B side. Yeah. It might be on the B side channel.
Okay, what percentage of a single Black American male is he talking to? What percentage do you think?
2%.
Straight men?
Ooh. Straight or gay, doesn't matter. What percentage?
Ooh,
3%?
5%, maybe 5% at best.
I was thinking 5.
Yeah.
Something like.
Hey, BGS. I think 5% of bread because I think it's probably only 2 or 3% of the legitimate. Oops.
Well, the thing is, you come up with this LGBT intersectional language, right? That nobody understands except you.
Yeah.
No, it's the circle. It's their circle. It's not just him, but that circle is they. Because so when he was,
let me say something real quick.
Wait, PK.
Okay.
When he was speaking to when FD was speaking to Kidology, they had a back and forth. And FD kind of spilled the beans. Like they have their own, either whether it's Discord or whatever, where they talk to each other and they're like in group chats with each other. So that lets you know, like nothing they're doing or saying necessarily is by accident. And I think they're running things past each other. So that's why I think they're all hitting us from different angles. So you got Rochford James, that's the Bahamian brother, coming at us from an angle. You got FD Signifier coming at us from a certain angle. You got Kim coming from us at a certain angle. You got Khadijah coming at us from another angle. And I think I'm not saying it's coordinated, but
coordinated.
Kind of,
All right, so go ahead. I'm sorry, PK. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
PK, hurry up because better you were supposed to go in.
No.
Okay.
What they're trying to do is replicate what we've done here in the Black Manuscript.
Okay.
Without understanding how it happened.
They're not going to have no impact because what you're bringing in is old. The problem. This is the thing. I said this before. I want to say it again, just in case any of them are listening. You spent your ammunition. You had 50. You spent it. You did the DL brothers thing. You did the garbage baby daddy thing. You did the bad husband, bad boyfriend thing. You did the domestic abuse thing. You said it already. You put it in film, you put it in articles, you put it in books. You did the black macho. You did the Four Colored Girls book and movie. You did the Color Purple book and movie. All of that's out already. Waiting to excel, all of that. You spent it. Go ahead, PK, and then better you. Go ahead.
I was gonna say him and his ilk and the intersectionality bent actually runs a gambit of quite a few different groups, but they're all the same group in essence when they start to talk about black men and men in particular. They actually fall under the same umbrella, even though they have different takes underneath that umbrella. So they're not quite different. They're actually the same people, just trying to run the same play through different lenses. So what I mean by that is that, for instance, you end up oftentimes seeing your pro-blacks and your extremist divestors oftentimes ending up on the same side of the argument, even though they say different things. Same thing with feminists.
Good point.
Same thing with
True,
it's not by accident. It's not by accident. A lot of people think that this is just different views coming together. No, arguably they're the same view being spanned, and they're trying to get men to acquiesce to the same game that they've been playing. And the game isn't working anymore. So I mean, unfortunately, they won't get to where they want to be. That overlap happens to be true across, I would say, about 6 or 7 different groups, because you have white liberals, dipped in there, and then you get your black liberals dipped in there, your FD signifiers, intersectional types. These people all overlap on a lot of different subjects. They just don't necessarily use the same language.
I'll go after whoever's last.
Better use next. Better you.
So better you then.
Let's do this. Better you, BGS, then Zulu. Let's do that. Okay.
Gotcha. So I want to kind of just throw this little 2 cents in on one thing real quick, and then ask another question. So first, the whole education point that a lot of people say, I feel like honestly, I call bullshit on it. Like,
how so?
My pops did it with me, and I'm doing it with my son. Every time my son comes here, I give him a couple names. Like I remember on last weekend before his birthday, I was like, "Yo, tell me who Toussaint Louverture is, and tell me who Carter G. Woodson is." Like you got a computer, you got the internet. I had to go through encyclopedias. My pops would do the same thing with me. Hey, do you know about such and such? All right, cool. Go find it in the encyclopedia. That's what we paid for.
My mom was Malcolm X and shit like that, bro.
Like real talk. Like, yeah, this whoever came to mind, or whatever event it was. So a lot of stuff that I learned about my culture, about black people in black America, honestly didn't come from the school system. And it never will come from the school system, because it never go tell you who you are. It never go tell you what you did. So it's up to us as parents to make sure that our children, I'm not saying they got to be like PhD level, but at least, hey, he's aware of these things and these people.
What percentage of parents are actually going to do that, man?
5.
If they
somewhere in the 5-10 range.
Okay.
If they love their kids, they would.
5.
It doesn't matter.
It's almost like most parents don't give a fuck about their kids. But anyway,
what percentage of
You caught
parents
it, PK.
are trying to survive working 2 jobs, whatever they have to do, right? Don't even know that themselves. Okay, what percentage of parents actually going to sit down with the kids and actually do that?
Oh, you don't got to. They got the internet.
Less than 3%.
You're not hearing me.
He said, "What parents
they care enough to sit down with their kids and do that?" What percentage?
Oh, that?
Yeah,
bro. They
I really truly don't believe most people are as invested in their kids that they would portray.
So how do you affect the? Okay, I asked you for a percentage. What percentage do you believe? There's a reason for that.
I like even numbers. Let's say 10%.
10%. What do you do for the other 90% that you're going to need to actually move a culture forward?
For the other 90, hey, you got to take care of home before you can take care of everywhere else.
The tip of the pyramid does not exist in the air by itself, sir.
It does not, bro. It stands on top of something, bro.
In other words, we need that's where education and socialization come in.
That's where institutions and socialization and systems work, because it works for the average person. Okay, if you can't get to the average person, it's not going to work. Why you think even at the tip top of the people that actually design this culture, they think about the average person. That's going to actually shape what your culture actually is, not the people at the top, people in the middle.
Yeah. So this is the only place where I would disagree.
Go ahead.
People will put their kids down in front of YouTube, in front of whatever, all day long. It takes my son maybe 20, 25 minutes to find a video, to read an article, to go to Wikipedia and find a few things to tell me who somebody is.
I'm about to break on that real quick.
No, like real talk. In less than 10 minutes, I can introduce my child to a new concept or a new individual who has significantly shaped America.
Okay.
And I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with that part of it. What I'm saying is, it's not unrealistic to say that a parent, if you are in a school, your child is in a school where they're getting that type of thing, for them to step in and say, hey, you know what? I at least know a couple things. Like, let me share. Let me help you discover certain things. That's all I'm saying.
Only 10% of your boys in America can read
on
grade level. What does that tell you about parents concerned about their kids?
Let me get this out before you guys go. Kaneda, thank you for the super chat. And Kaneda says supporting black male media and spontaneous BGS rants.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hey, the BGS rants do be fire. They do be fire. Go ahead.
This Purdy thing has made me sick of this shit, man. I'm sick of it. Go ahead.
All right, now I want to say a few things, bro.
Well,
let better you finish up, and then
keep referring you back to what I said in the first place. I've been at this thing for like 30 years, man. Refer you back to it. Go. What's the next one you want to ask? You want to put in? Because I do this with my grandson, with kids and my grandson on a daily basis. Okay, and I know what I'm up against. Now tell me something I don't know.
Gotcha. Well, the last thing is actually tied into FD, which is, in a lot of ways, I don't know if it's maybe just the way I'm interpreting it, but it feels like he's pledged fealty to this idea in some way.
Exactly.
And I wonder, like, what's the with him? What's in it for him?
He's getting it because he's the one person who that system works for.
And put it this way. What? So, okay.
His wife is corporate. He stays on with the kids. It works for him.
Oh yeah,
so you saying he a kept man?
Yeah.
No. He's not a kept man because he used to be a teacher. So it's his wife was the primary breadwinner for a while until the YouTube thing popped off. Yeah. And now the YouTube thing popped off. Now he's still a stay-at-home dad, but he's making more than her at this point. But he can afford to be on this type of feminist kick because he's a creator, right? He's a creator, so he doesn't have to come out here and live the way we live in, and then talk in the way he talk and think the way he think, and then still try to make a wife out of one of these women. You see what I'm saying?
He has a wife that actually lives up to the feminist agreement, right? Which is I will be primary breadwinner. I'm gonna go out to work, you stay home, right?
Yeah, she cheating on him, bro.
Don't do that, Zulu. Don't do that,
Bro,
Zulu. Don't do.
bro,
Oh man,
I
don't do
be,
that, Zulu. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh,
you in
blood.
I be in these offices. I be in these nurses' office. I be in these. Trust me, bro. These chicks be out there in the goddamn cold room, fucking the fuck out in the morgue. Be fucking.
Wait. Zulu, wait. On a side note, on a side note, I'm gonna go off on this tangent with Zulu for a couple minutes. Bruh, if you work in a major law office or if you work in a call center, bruh, yes, let me preface my statement by saying this. Not all of your wives and girlfriends are getting down. That's a fact.
Not
But boy, so many.
Not.
A lot of them are. Let's just say that. Bruh, ring, no ring, marriage, no marriage, been in a relationship with you for 5-10 years, it don't, bro.
It don't matter.
And by the way,
Miami, though.
here's the thing.
You're in Florida, dog. You're in Florida.
True, but here's the thing. Across the spectrum, what I'm telling y'all, everybody, they smashing everybody from the dudes in the file room all the way to the attorneys. Everybody getting some.
And she's smashing everybody from the goddamn CNA all the way up to the doctor, bro.
Hey, bro, it's crazy. And if you think, my wife would never do that, she's an attorney. Listen, the dude in the file room that's 23 is saying your 40-year-old wife, bro.
Your wife put her titties out there on.
I didn't ran into dudes in the morgue, bro. When I'm going to delivering bodies, all of a sudden it's a goddamn train in that bitch, and you sitting there looking like.
Hey, so we went off on that tangent. Now we're back to the topic at hand. And so it's something.
Destiny's talking to Vester Logic, man, on this stream. Well, goodness,
okay. Hey, Obsidian interviewed, and that's probably gonna be my last commentary on that. Obsidian interviewed Pearl, so I'm gonna watch the whole thing, and then I might do some commentary on it, and that's it. I'm done after that. I'm done with this conversation.
Yeah, I can't deal with
it. It's literally a week old. Literally. So we done off of that. We done held on to this longer than CNN be holding on to top because they're rating shit. Damn, Mr. Z said that out loud.
We've been dealing with this a while.
Right.
I'll be right back.
All right. But yeah, so but going to the FD thing, he Better Use right. He did swear fealty. No, he swore fealty to this shit. And now it's about getting us to go along with the BS. Right, especially this is what y'all gotta understand. Kevin was the big bad boogeyman to them, and when he died, he left a vacuum. And it's not just brothers in the Black Manosphere that's trying to fill that vacuum. A lot of other people outside are trying to give air quotes young men a different way of viewing this instead of the Kevin way or the Black Manosphere way. That's how they see it.
You know what's hitting FD signifier in his ilk? Okay, the PhDs inside this space, right?
Yeah.
Because guess who they affect? Not the common man on the street. Who they affect? The men inside the academy.
Yep.
That can't say anything, but they have an effect.
Yes.
That's what's causing it.
Because not enough. So the people on the highest level even the one, well, actually mainly the ones that's not showing their face and that's not putting themselves out there. Them starting to be like, yeah, I might though.
I have a question. Y'all play that video I put in the back check?
I'm about to slide out, man. I hope y'all have a good night, bro. I got to get to work. Take it easy, y'all.
Tell them what it is first.
Yeah. And let me say, shout out Toya real quick. Toya, thank you for the super chat. And Toya said, a happy camper here. And yeah, man, it like I said, that's the issue that we're having. So, and that's why I said what I said earlier in my little monologue, which is like, you're a married brother with kids, right? And you got Kim Foster who said she don't want to have kids, but she wants to be with a Black man, and she's heterosexual from what we know. Okay, y'all are pretty much, and Kim Foster has said this multiple times on her channel. All this traditional relationship stuff, y'all could kick rocks with that, Black man. Y'all not getting that. Y'all are not getting that.
Not from them. Yeah,
not from them. That's
exactly. And so Black, and she laughs at the whole passport, bro. She's like, how many of y'all got the money? How many of y'all? Okay, good. Okay, point proven. Okay, fine. Not enough brothers got enough money to go travel abroad and to search for a wife. Cool, whatever. we still won't be with you with the women that you claim to be advocating for. So I hope you have an answer for them, and that's my question for her. I hope you have an answer for them in not even just in 5-10 years now, because you got to know they go to sleep crying themselves to sleep, right? You got to know they go to sleep with their rose toy in their hand, and all y'all got for them is a bunch of more. Let's bring back. We don't need these Negroes feminism,
bro. Let me tell you this much.
All right,
like right now, bro. You can go right now. If I got $800 spare, if I can save up $800, I can go fly me out a chick from all the way from goddamn Tanzania, bro, and have her stay with me, man.
For less than a stack.
At this point, bro. Nah, bro. Like they piping in chicks from all over from South America right currently, right? I can go get me a chick currently from Africa right now for $800, bro. Nah,
you should be glad to come,
and she'll be glad to come, and she don't care, bro. She gonna
hey, by the way, pun intended.
And she gonna be happy I put her in the house, bro. I'm gonna put her in a nice apartment. Fuck that. You put her in a nice apartment, 2-bedroom apartment, 3-bedroom apartment, but she looking at you like you God, bro. And after that, you can handle your business, get to where you gotta go to.
And let me just say this, bro. Let me just say this because it needs to be said. Why the passport bros? Because they're just cheaper. It's just cheaper. Okay, look. Let me just kill all this conversation about passport bros and whatever. Fine, y'all are just expensive for no reason. We getting more attitude. We getting and like unwarranted sass, unwarranted attitude. Asking and demanding for extravagance and opulence, and other women from overseas are just cheaper. Y'all think they're weaker. You think they're softer. Y'all could call it whatever y'all would need to call it to assuage whatever y'all going through. They're just cheap, and nobody has the no man really has the energy for women that want multi-million-dollar men, will settle for 6-figure men, but want multi-million-dollar men and multi-million-dollar lifestyle. We just not. We're over it. We're over it. For what?
For like who doing that for a 4, bro? Who's doing that for a 4, bro?
I'm over it, bro. Yeah, go ahead.
It's actually worse than that. I know it's gonna hurt some feelings, but y'all know it's the damn truth. White women in this country are cheaper than y'all asses.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you know what? So BGS put out a video. I want to say it was maybe 3 years ago at this point. BGS put out a video, and he was going through the expectations of black women versus other women, and it was like a real study. So this is not BGS pulling out his rear end, and like literally, black women had the craziest standards, like facts.
Well, for you, they have the standards, craziest standards for you.
For husband. Now you know they smash whatever, but for husband it was
compared to other women. No, even for white men, they still have the same standards.
Yeah. And you got to remember, there's a reason why the divorce rate is so high for black women, and their marriages only last 5 or so years. There's a reason for that, and it's not just the men ain't showing up. No, delusion.
Hey man, all I can say is, bro, I know for a fact, bro. I can go spend $800 right now and go ahead and get my Ugandan chick over here, and she will be squeezing my passion fruit. I will be fine as hell, bro. So at this point, bro, what you mean, girl? You ain't got no bargaining chips. You ain't got no leverage. So that's the end of the matriarchy, bro. She ain't got it. You know, it is what it is.
I mean, no, you know why it's not? Because we still got brothers that's struggling and that are not in the know, and they in the pookies, right? The not in the know pookies that's what I'm saying. So there's enough pookies still to satisfy enough of the gynocracy. And remember, the gynocracy is not just the bum ass sisters at the very bottom either. There's enough pookies that's willing to satisfy enough of the women across the spectrum, and you know, so
what if the United States
passport bros?
Excuse me.
We saw that with the passport bros. How many of these dudes that was jumping up, talking about these men are weak, pretty much regurgitating these gynocratic talking points.
Yeah.
What
happens if the dollar cracks and the United States can't maintain this lifestyle?
Oh, it's over,
bro. I'm worried about. I'm trying to leave before that shit happens.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie.
Better leave fast.
I will say this. I see a lot of DV, a lot of DV,
What is
a
DV?
lot of domestic. Let's just say that. Let's just say
Okay.
domestic.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot. I see a lot of DV. I see a lot of deletion. I see. Man, yeah, it's gonna be whatever how bad we think it is now. I don't know how many times you could time that. It's just gonna be infinitely worse. Yeah.
Bro, I've been looking at that shit too, bro. I've been looking at this this thing with what is it? Jamaica just joined BRICS, bro. Another country just joined BRICS, and I'm sitting here looking at this.
Jamaica,
bro. Yeah, Jamaica. So I'm looking
the
at this.
economy ain't big enough to join. I guess. Okay, whatever. All right.
It's where they stationed at, bro. Is right next to where?
Yeah.
Panama Canal.
Jamaica, it's right next to America, bro. And
yeah, it's right there. It's right. Yeah, it's right there. It's right there.
So
it's right next to Cuba. It's right. Yeah, it's right there.
It's a perfect place, right? So when you understand, so when I'm looking at this, like I'm like, man, if this dollar collapsed while you still up in here, bro.
Yeah,
I don't know, bro. I'm actually worried for you, bro.
But don't miss BGS's point. All of the things and all of the social safety net and all of the mechanisms and institutions that allow for a particular type of women to act the way they do, all that's gone. Like overnight. Right? So like, can she really act like that, and can she think like that and feel like that when all of the institutions that allow for her to think like that and move like that and feel like that are gone?
I don't know. I think you misunderstand one thing, Rick. I don't know if you ever watched the show. It's called Tosca Blade, right? It's Tosca, right? It's a show about this little. I'm not gonna get into it, but a little bit it's like this. You gotta understand human emotions and malice. That shit is real, bro. If you really piss somebody off hard enough, it don't matter. They will make it a mission, bro. Like,
I believe in the politics of spite. I think the politics of spite, like Trump got into office because of the politics of spite. Like the politics of spite is real, and that's one of my biggest gripes with the left is the left to be like, well, we're gonna bring you this, and we're gonna have this for you, and we might have that, and it's like, yeah, but you let the corporations run amok, and like nobody really signed up for some of this other stuff, that you. Yeah, the politics of spite is real, and I think political wonks and even people that think they're doing something that's okay, perfect. When we mentioned FD Signifier, people like Kim and FD Signifier and Khadijah, even if they act like they're not doing it, this is what they engage in. It's like, I can see something you can't see. Follow me. Because clearly you're not aware enough to realize what I realize, right? They don't think that we have a difference. We disagree with them and we're knowledgeable. They think we disagree with them because we don't know or we don't understand. And I'm saying, no, I'm not going to insult your intelligence and say you don't know. What I will say is we know, we see what you're saying. We understand what you're saying. We just disagree. Period. Bro, and many of us are disagreeing off a life experience.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, go ahead and let me read the super chat.
All right. Well, basically, when you understand like the level of let's say built up malice that I'm starting to see, like, and that's the only way I can really do it. I'm really choosing my word, malice, right? An attempt to do evil. That's what malice.
Yeah. Yep.
So when I'm starting to see this malice that start to kind of like creep up in these dudes, right? And then I'm starting to see a layer of hopelessness that's creeping up in, some of these dudes like they married, they got like a small little kid, and I'm telling them basically, bro, you ain't got no hope. You either got you need to move or band with some other dudes on the same shit. Either that or your child gonna get ate. And you can see like the tear well up in the motherfucker eye, like nah. Now when you start necessarily seeing it in people. Nah, that shit gonna last for like at least a couple generations. Like that generational effect gonna be there for like their grandkids, man.
There's not really any way necessarily to insulate your child, but there are ways to prepare your children. And that's kind of what Better You was speaking to earlier. Army Osei Frimpong, the funky academic, speaks about this type of stuff all the time, right? And yeah, but like I agree with you. There's no way to really insulate your children, right? I'm saying this as a person with no children, but I would imagine that there's no way to insulate them, but there are ways to prepare them as best you can for the outside world. And what I would argue, and this is I think what BGS was getting to, is like the parents aren't doing that. So the parents aren't doing that for any number of reasons, whether it's the time, it's work, it's they you can't teach what you don't know, different type of things, and the institutions are also not preparing your child for this. They're just getting them basic info on how to work the machines and how to write and I was gonna say read, but not really. Definitely not for your black boys.
Be hooked on phonics to actually read.
Right. So, and at the end of the day, your children come out here 18, 17, 18 years old, and they're ill prepared for the world. Even the ones that do attend college, I would argue, even the ones when they exit college, they're not really prepared.
They're not
for this environment that really wants to chew them out. Not to mention, I think, and I'm probably going to be hell on my children with this, killing the mythology, right? Like the weird ass mythologies that we buy into that actually screw us in the long run. Like the good person always wins bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? Like all this mythology. I need that crap. Like I'm gonna let my child enjoy that when they're really young, and we gotta get that whole ideology out of here before you go to college. Right?
It starts when they're young, man. But I would say the myth of black excellence as well, man. Like,
ooh, go ahead and go into that.
No, basically, like it's like I said a couple weeks ago. It's with this current society, is black excellence.
Better you. By the way, we have this brother got a master's degree. This ain't he not no bum saying this for excuses. Go ahead, finish up, baby.
Yeah, and 2-time published author as well.
Right. Shout yourself out. Go ahead. Shout yourself out. Go ahead. But yeah, go ahead.
But what I mean by that is, whenever there's one of us who achieves exceptional heights, and I'll use my own family for example. One of my families is a doctor who, basically, they are on the White House Advisory Board for Health. Okay. And they would point to an individual like that and say, "Oh, these things are working. We need to divert more resources away from such and such because we have such and such individuals that we can point to." Even same thing at my job. I'm one of only 2 black managers at the Atlanta office.
Yeah.
I'm in Atlanta. That's Chocolate City, baby.
Yeah, but I'm here too, bro. So I know.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like when they talk diversity, they made diversity synonymous with the presence of women. So it's a whole lot of things where when it comes into that black excellence argument, it's one of those things where it gets used to but not further benign neglect this and buy in the intersectionality in a nutshell.
Yep. Let me read it. I'm so glad you said it. Let me read this real quick. And Detroit says, wait and see. These foreign were trained to fight hand to hand. Compared what's that? Comrade here in America, they wouldn't stand a chance against them. I think you wanted to say compared, but yeah, compared here to America, they wouldn't stand a chance. Look, I mean, yes and no. So okay, so the video that was circulated in China, circulating here in America of the Chinese boys putting the guns together and all that other stuff, and my brother-in-law sent that to me on IG, and I was just like, I hear you, bro, but you remember like just a couple years ago, China was like, oh my God, our boys are so weak and they're so soft and they get effeminate, and what are we gonna do about it? So yes, but no. Much of that is propaganda also, right? So I don't want us to underestimate them, but I also don't want us to think that these people got the whole game sewn up and their men are like super alpha men and chewing on rocks. Like, not so much, right? But I get what you're saying. Right. See what I'm saying? Exactly. Oh yeah, you meant to say compared. Okay. All right. And thank you, Detroit. But yeah, so I get what you're saying, but like everybody's putting out propaganda to show their men are like the hardest men, hardest nails, and you gotta remember, like the Chinese had to bring in Chinese pop stars to like calm down their recruits. Like that's what's going on in China, right? Like you can say a whole lot of things about how the U.S. military got soft, but we ain't bringing in pop stars for the recruits. Maybe when they overseas at war, but we ain't bringing in pop stars when they go through basic training because basic training is tearing a hole in their ass. We ain't doing that. So I'll pause right there.
Really make it through, like basically, like I remember I told you, BJs, I thought about going to the Navy, right? I basically went and applied for that shit. I
Uh-huh.
told her to do my physical specs and whatever. And I was like 5'9", 170, probably 180, right? He was like, "You're good shape." I was like, "Yeah." I told him how much I run, how much I bench. He was like, "You, I can put you here. I can put you anywhere." And I'm saying, like, you should not be that desperate.
Yeah.
They are.
Yep. Across the board, by the way, like young men across, especially when you get to like millennials, Gen Z, bro, ain't nobody trying to sign up for what?
Yeah. I'm doing the most safest job I can anywhere. So I'm trying to get that little,
Biden's
4
running
years
stuff
out.
now. Not that I'm sorry.
Yeah. Say that again. Say that again. Maybe I missed it. Say that again.
Especially with the way Biden's doing the war.
Yeah, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you got to ask yourself for what you have to incentivize young men. Y'all took. This is the thing. Y'all took the carrot off the table a long time ago, and then y'all only had stick. Now the sticks don't work no more.
No,
Right? It's like you know what it is? All the kids like me who used to get spanking all the time, and then after a while, your mom be like, "Okay, I gotta start decking this nigga in his chest," or something. Your dad got like, "I gotta hit this nigga with the table."
You can't
Right?
even yell at the kids anymore in
Right?
music training. Can't even yell at me anymore.
Yeah, no, because like what incentive?
There is none, bro. Like like you said, like when you take that last little carrot off the table, it's like, motherfucker, what you gonna do about it? Like that's what I've been running. My personality as it's been going on, the personality I've been running into is, what you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
So like when you get that mentality of what you gonna do about it, it's like, because this girl told me, she was like, "Nitty than that, and I'm gonna hit this." I was like, "And if I slap you, knock you the fuck out, what you gonna do about it?" And like,
hey, ain't nothing scare a person more than when another person say, "And what you gonna do about it?" And what
about it, bro? And that's been my mentality, and that's been the mentality of a lot of dudes out here in Atlanta basically got is, what you gonna do about it? And like, bro, that's not that's a recipe for a whole bunch of bitches getting slapped. So
Shout out to that commercial where the man is in the backyard of the barbecue and he's slapping everybody.
About 180 pound dude.
Hey, no, that dude slapped. He slapped the kid. He slapped everybody. The old man, the young man, the women. He slapped everybody.
It's for everybody, bro. It's rating.
I'm joining the stream a little late, fellas. I didn't get a chance to actually, because I'll be working a lot, so I didn't get a chance to actually see the Obsidian interview with Just Pearly Things.
Me neither. Don't worry. I'm going to do commentary about that probably tomorrow or yeah.
I was just going to ask. I did hear certain commentary that Obsidian made yesterday. I mean, he does. It's a double-edged sword, but he does make a valid point when he said, a lot of people is offended by this. Which, like your last video, I definitely agree with Mr. Z about us gatekeeping our spaces, because we've seen this. We've seen this.
BG said, "Good luck."
No, I'm just saying we've seen this strategy play over and over as black men.
They have $1 million though.
Obsidian has the nerve to talk about gatekeeping our space. Okay,
he's selling that shit out right.
No. He didn't say that.
That was me. Yeah, that was more me. Because it really was a cautionary, like, be careful. That's what I'm on. Like, all right. Be careful. I'm always on some be careful stuff. I don't know about dictating to others.
In this game, there is no be careful. You got to take risks.
The point that Obsidian made that I agree with, he said that we're talking about this one white chick, but yet we've had all of these divestors on here who say they want the deletion of Black Baby, Strange Fruit hanging as an avatar. By when a black man is assaulted by a police officer, just like, I want to see all black men deleted, and we've seen them so I agree with that. Like, and don't get me wrong, I've never subscribed to Just Pearly Things, so I never watched any of her content. The only thing I know is about the clips that's been floating around. But it's obvious that she's a grifter and she's capitalizing off of
she said that. She said that the minute she stepped in the front door, she knocked on the door and said, "I'm here to make money."
Literally. She started off just reacting to everything, remember? Like she started off, her channel was just a reaction to everything. and she said it like white girl reacts to such and such, and white. I remember when she first popped on the scene.
The whitest girl in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, reacts to what? And yeah, so I remember, and like we watched her blow up over the span of what, 2 years ish.
About 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you guys think about all the content creators that listen? What's his name? I'm sorry, but I don't like this guy. But what's his name? OJ Deuce Jackson. He's another one. O'Shea. I don't like him.
O'Shea.
O'Shea been kind of. He been really.
He's in it for the money. The thing is,
he throws a lot of black men under the bus. He throws black men under the bus.
Whatever brings him money.
He shapeshifts. He shapeshifts. 1 minute he makes content.
You call him Mystique? Don't be calling him O'Shea Mystique.
But see, and that's another thing too. I remember a lot of people don't remember this, but I remember when he had Paris Milan on Blog Talk Radio. He was like,
I tell you this, man. I did a video where actually killed Cynthia G's channel, right? Buried her. Obsidian and O'Shea went and dug her out of the trash and pulled her back.
Oh, so we got
and now she's saying abort black male babies.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, wait a minute. We may have and say we may have some traitors among us then, bro. Because I'm not the second, third time he didn't did some shit like that.
He's kind of been slick throwing black men under the bus for quite some time. If you pay close attention to this video, because he can never hold the women accountable without trying to shift the blame right back to black men.
He been told you he didn't told you he was a simp, bro, and he woman led, bro. Like he claim it, bro. He got over there Uganda, bro.
When the breakdown, that's what reminded the breakdown when they actually talked about Pearly, right? You had Prince Seller on there twice talking shit about black men. Okay.
Yeah.
Did not push back, not once. The nerve.
The problem with a lot of these dudes, it's like it's not even so much like you said, it's not even so much the criticizing of the brothers, it's the fact that they like to throw brothers under the bus, bro, just for female approval. And niggas have to stop doing that shit because again, I don't know how many times these niggas have to learn this shit the hard way. It doesn't make your life better. It doesn't gain you more respect. In fact, it just increases the amount of disrespect that you're gonna get.
Let me just.
It doesn't matter if you do it through the macho stabbed in the back by people that I've helped in this sector, right? Stabbed in the back.
You better than me though, bro.
It ain't gonna stop.
Let me just add on to that.
Zulu said, "Not me."
I wish you would.
Okay, so let's let 18th land and then Zulu, and then we're gonna slowly start wrapping up because this is my last free day for like 2 weeks. So my last free night, better yet.
Mrs. Z too. I sent you that email about that interview, man. You never got to it. I don't know if it's Gary. I know you get a lot of.
It's like, bro. When I tell you, I literally work 2 jobs, like, and I'm just.
I know. Whenever you get a chance, man, just whenever you get a chance.
And not only that, I think Detroit just told. Was it Detroit that just told me he sent me something too? No, Deadly Shells said he sent me something in email. Like, I got it.
But I was just going to add this to what BGS was saying. One thing I've noticed about these guys. One thing Sergeant Willie P said back in the day, which is absolutely true, is that due to the monetization of YouTube, long gone are the days for an honest conversation. A lot of these dudes on here, they're not for black men. They're not for black men. Hell, some of them even identify with white men more than they own. And that's the sad thing that we're not being honest about. When you hear a lot of them talk, we've seen this as he get up here, we've seen BGS get up here. These brothers know the history. They know why things the way that they are. And you got a lot of guys. Some of these guys' main purpose in the space is to just get on, to be able to be a token, to be able to be that one individual that you can front on other men in the space and say, "Oh, I'm doing this, or I'm doing that." And a lot of them, they want black women's attention. They want their support. They want the support. So they're willing to try to, if they're gonna say some shit, they want to be balanced. But a lot of the times they just want to throw men under the bus to keep their.
They are agents of chaos, bro.
It's important that we say this.
Agents of chaos, bro.
I started streaming in the car with my girl next to me. Number one. So that lets y'all know, like, I really mean what I say. Number one. Number two, I ain't selling out for no money. Y'all know the bag they gotta come bring me for me to sell out the Black Manosphere. They gotta come to me with a bag, okay? And they ain't coming to me with no bag. They're not gonna come to Mr. Z with no bag. They ain't gonna come to me with no bag. Say that again, BGS?
Back up the truck, huh?
Right, like they gotta come with me with the whole damn bank vault for me to sell out.
And that's the thing you gotta, because like I was gonna say with O'Shea B. Jackson, he let Paris Milan get up there and talk crazy to all of these brothers that was calling in, and a lot of these brothers supported him. And then when brothers would try to give her pushback and get him pushback for letting her do that, he'll try to come at them sideways. A person like that, you can't trust. A person like, and you ask, like, because I see Dead Set Anime said everybody identify with white men. That doesn't really bother me. If that's you, bro, then you a person I can't trust either. Because if you don't identify with your brothers first, because whether we like it or not, we all one group. We all on one accord. We may argue, we may disagree, but we are all on one accord. When a lot of these laws and policies was put into place, that didn't affect one individual. That affect us all.
The whole group, bro.
The whole group. That affect us all. So if you identify with them over there, then you go ahead and see how well they treat you over there. Because see, it's a lot of people that think they can be individuals.
I think Dead Set is more describing the more systemic, like the fact that you're educated in their system, you're socialized in their system. So that's more what he's saying. I don't think he's really saying like you think you're Donald Trump. I don't think that's where he's going. He's not going to Kanye route. I don't think he's going to like, I see Donald Trump as my daddy type shit. Okay, yeah.
I apologize. I apologize, but yeah, I was just going to say, like, I was going to tell you, like, for instance, not trying to, I don't know how you are, Mr. Z, when it comes to other channels, but it's one brother that I watch, Accountable Commentary. That brother said,
Ed was calling him, shouting him out. I think the other day.
Yeah, he said this is a channel for black men. And no one else is allowed. This is for black men. Everything he talks about when he talks about the dynamics within our relationships, everything. You've had a lot of women that went over there trying to shut this man down, and this man they ghost watch and then they try to shut him down.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like, I don't, and that's the thing I'm trying to figure out. Like, where do we go? Because like it's gotten to the point where the women are worse than anything that we'll have to deal with outside our group.
Man, bro, let them. Like, I'm cool with. I mean, you have to.
No. What I'm saying is that they're opposition to anything we're trying to do. I agree with what you're saying. No, they're opposition to anything that we're trying to do. Like they're willing to destroy their own men just to stay in a position where they feel like they have this illusion of power.
Okay, by the art of war, when you reach an opponent like that, what do you do to him? Anybody?
Wait, we do. Yeah, you can't negotiate with a. You
can't negotiate with that, bro.
Yeah.
It is completely necessary. You burn it until it's gone.
With a scorched earth, yeah. And
that's the mentality they have with you. They have a scorched earth mentality. But the problem is these dudes do not have that. They ain't got the I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little bit more evil than the average person. But
no, I think you're just thinking about it differently. And you know what it is? Look, there are black women that are wayward. There are black women that are wayward that might be salvageable. I'm not telling y'all to go salvage them though. But we also got to be honest that there's ones like what Zulu's talking about. They get off on this. What's his name? Said in Painful? I love the game. They love the game. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So we got to be honest. And like what Zulu's saying, we have to be honest. And this is where I get annoyed with like the Dr. Umar Johnsons. Like, yo, like Cynthia G looked you in the face, brother, and said what she said about aborting black male sons. She looked you in the face and said that, and she didn't ask you for forgiveness, mind you, and you said you forgave her.
At that point, that's the trait. Like you got. I look at this shit like warfare at this point. Like for me, once you look at like warfare and chess and shit, it becomes the math becomes easy, bro. It becomes how is they playing on the chessboard? Are they moving in tandem with you? Are they not moving in tandem with you, or moving in the desired direction?
Which is why we use pearly things and her examples and her shorts as warfare.
Yeah.
Instead of getting cowering, oh my God, she's racist. Man, I don't give a fuck.
Let me read. Go ahead, BJ. Finish up, and I'll read it after you. Go ahead.
Does she spread the message? Does she keep the battle going? Does she actually propagandize the masses? That's what
Exactly,
I
bro. That's how I look at it.
I don't care who.
And
if
I'm
you want
waiting.
to throw under the bus, go ahead. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you can't throw away all your tools. Okay, can't break all your tools.
And I'm waiting to see Chrissy's response and Paris Milan's response to this because I know it's going to be.
Oh, that's gonna be. Oh, that's gonna be fun. Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Be warped and everything. We're going to ignore all of the women that have advocated for the deletion of black men this whole time. But
no, but they with it though. They're with it. Let me read this real quick. Electrician 480, thank you very much. And he said BGS tax support black male media, and thank you very much, brother. And Better You hysterical, and Better You says Z, I got a chain of Popeyes for you if you sell out.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. Oh, that's it. He's gone. Say goodbye.
That's it.
Everybody got a price, bro.
Hey, look. I ain't selling out. I ain't selling out for a chain of Popeyes.
Yes,
but if you can get me that $2 million, wait, I'll tell you, if you can get me that $2 million Nismo 400R, maybe. It's like one of the rarest Nissans ever. There's only 44 of them. If you can get me that, and that bitch costs $2 million though. Have fun.
25
maybe.
I started
Right? But no, I wouldn't. You know, because I really mean this. Like, I don't know if y'all hear it when I speak or whatever. Because for me, and I think that's why Toya and Kareen could listen to me speak, because you could it's not about hate of black women or like, oh, I want to see them suffer and burn. And I'm not holding on to no gripe from high school. I actually had a pretty good dating life in high school. I'm not holding on to no gripe from college or anything like that. So it's not that for me. It really is, okay, ladies, if y'all want this, then take all of it. That's what it really is for me. I'm over the whole moral high grounding of black women compared to black men, allowing them to take all those resources and then run out the back door and then tell the black men, well, just, get it how you live. Bro. That's my project. That's what I'm against, right? If women want this, then go ahead, take all the leadership, but also all the responsibility and accountability. And when you crash the Titanic into the ship, you sink with the ship. I get to jump on the raft and get out of here.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like,
that's what I'm on with it.
Yeah, they're not, because they're too cowardly. They too cowardly.
Yeah.
I already got to this point where I'm basically already, like I said, man, I already bought my land in Uganda, bro. I'm trying to build that house out in this bitch. So, like I said, I'm trying to start the the Fortress of Solitude in Uganda, bro. Get you like 10,000, maybe 30,000 down there, bro.
But it's not the Fortress of Solitude if you in there with other people.
What what
that fucked you up, Zoo. I did that on purpose. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
One thing about these women that kills me is that we don't never want to be honest about the situation. A lot of
they scared to admit it, bro.
These women was bums before. So
wait a minute.
They was bums. They was bums.
Hey, 18 City. No, fucking what y'all say in New York? Bum ass. You fucking bum ass bitch.
They was bums, man. And that's one thing I would say. Shout out to Accountable Commentary for saying that a lot of these women were beggars. Until it blew up online. That's why
one of my favorite reasons to go to New York is to hear somebody call somebody a bum ass. Oh, hysterical.
They're terrified of their channels being deleted. They are terrified.
Yeah. Oh, bro. That's why Paris. So y'all remember when I thought Paris channel had got deleted? No. So when I listened to her commentary afterward, it's because she was getting into it with one of them. Was it Cynthia? It might have been Cynthia G or Divested. One of them even more extreme divestors than her, which is saying a lot. And they got into a back and forth. It might have been Divested Zealot. And they were getting to a back and forth, and she turned her channel off because of her fear that she was going to say, so she said, is that she was going to say something or do something to get herself, channel deleted. And
I don't know. My question is, let's be. I don't know. I ain't gonna say that on air, but never mind.
No, but yeah. So let me finish going to what I was saying with towards what 18 Letter is saying. They are deathly afraid of like their channels getting deleted because you gotta remember these are people that have worked on these channels for Paris it's more like 5 or plus years, right? They have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and they make crazy money off of these channels.
But do you know
right? So yeah, and they don't work. By the way, these are people that don't work 9 to 5s. Their channel is their life.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
Hey, bro,
I remember when Chrissy. Said she had quit her job.
Yeah.
So I remember back in the day because she used to work at an airport. She said she quit her job, and she was doing this full time because this is how they all make their money. Before this, Paris Milan was driving Uber.
Uber, yeah, bro.
People forget that Paris Milan was driving Uber, and shout out to Accountable Commentary.
So in other words, she was TSA and she was driving Uber.
Yep.
And now she acting like and I'm so happy BGS reminded of that before. She was out here with the D boys. She was TSA. She was driving Uber.
And
then
Sergeant Willie Pete put her on.
Yeah, exactly. Sergeant Willie Pete put her.
Not Sergeant Willie Pete. That was Boyce Watkins.
Oh no, he did.
No, for Chrissy, not for Paris. For Chrissy. It was Sergeant Willie Pete for Chrissy. It was Sergeant Willie Pete for Chrissy. So all of that's going on in her life, right? And now she acting like she above all of this other you're a loser who YouTube saved.
Absolutely, and it's a lot of them on here like that. It's a lot of them on here, and that's the thing.
Yanni's another one.
She's another one. I saw her content switch up, and you called it out because I saw something on her channel on her community tab, Mrs. Z. When you called it out, she put a post up there of a nerd black dude going after the chick, the thick hood chick. With a nerd black girl behind him, and she was like, "This was my life. This was my true life." She felt that guy never wanted her, so this is what caused.
And here we go. So in other words, Yanni and Kim from Fort Harriet got the same life.
I guess so. Similar. Yeah.
Because Kim from Fort Harriet was like, I didn't care for something like that. It's like she didn't care for the jocks, but even the nerds weren't checking for her back in high school, so she had to go to prom with a white dude. And so what we're saying is Yanni's saying the same. So going back, BGS remember. As a matter of fact, BGS was here when I first said it. I told y'all that most of this shit is high school stuff. BGS. Yeah. This is not adult gripes. This is not like my ex-husband broke me. No. This is I was 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, and the guys I wanted in high school or even in middle school, disgusting, didn't want me.
And it continued in college.
Into college, into real life. Then they figured it out.
There were the same thing with Stefco.
Exactly. It's a Stefco syndrome, bro.
Come on, man. Look, man.
In college, I tried to, right? And then I went out into the real world. I tried it, and then I figured out I am actually ugly.
So let me get this right. We have adult. I made a whole video about this. We have adult people. They wipe their own ass. They're taxpayers, right? They go grocery shopping like the rest of us.
Right.
They got car insurance, right? They pay property tax. You know what I'm saying? They take showers, hopefully. And these people are still griping about. They done built whole movements. Because of and built literally all this colorism talk, all this black feminism talk, all this black female empowerment talk, all this abort black male babies talk, all of this really stems back to who didn't want me when I was a child, an underage child when I was 14 and 15 years old.
Mr. Z, it goes further than that. The thing is, it never stopped.
It never stopped though. You know,
because
better for you.
If you look at like Whitney Houston, right? She wasn't wanted as a teenager, right? When she got to be an adult, everybody did.
Yeah.
She didn't hold on to it because she got what she wanted. The chicks that never got what they wanted, don't want to accept their place. Those are the chicks that actually complain.
And you know what's crazy?
It's not just complain though. But real quick. And I'm sorry, 18 later. It's not just complain. You start a whole movement, or you're part of a whole movement disparaging black men in general because of the Negroes that you want that don't want you.
Exactly. You have a whole crew of 4, 5s, and 6s with like 70% of the population, right?
Yeah.
They want to be 8, 9s, and 10s.
Yeah.
And they can't.
And they're overweight, bro. Like
Zulu, you're the worst.
That's overweight, bro. So that makes them, so by default, that makes them like whether either 3s or 2s, right? So you a 3 to 2, and what are you trying to do? I'm trying to get the mystical white man. So you say, what man? He's like,
but the mystical white man ain't checking neither, bro.
Bro, ain't nobody checking for no goddamn.
We have all this female empowerment that with the if I'm fat, if I'm ugly, if I'm 3 or I'm 4,
Yep.
I still be treasured like I'm 8, 9, 10. Everybody should get a trophy.
Yeah. I really despise. Look, man, I was extra average in high school. It's nothing. I'm a 5'9" brother. I'm not particularly muscular. I'm not tall. I, s- I still get attention. Well, I dress nice, but I still get attention. Like, I don't know, man. Like, look, bro.
You're a
Okay.
man, bro. You have to necessarily overcome the world. So that's what. So, but the fact
Yeah,
that
yeah. And I got the Rick Ross beard. That adds to
that
it.
helped.
But so like, but I don't know. Like, when I hear there are brothers, I'm not gonna lie, that I've heard in this space, and you're like, all right, bro, get over it. But their whole space is that. The entire space over there is that.
She never. You got to understand it like this. She never really got her time to shine.
Yeah.
She was the kid that never really got the chance to quote unquote grow into the adulthood part, right? You know what I mean? It's like that, right? Like she was ugly then. She was ugly in middle school.
It's a little worse.
She was ugly in college. And she was an ugly woman, right? Then she became a more ugly individual as the world told her she was ugly inside. So all that had 4 times over, bro.
And my education was supposed to give me what I want.
Yeah.
Right, and another thing too that I got to shout out accountable commentary on that he said, which makes a lot of sense. Now we've been, BGS, you've been the front runner in a lot of these convos for a long time. Mrs. E comes with his commentary, but one thing he said that is absolutely true because a lot of you brothers have always made logical sense with everything. He said, "Did you notice when these women, the only time these women in these diverse and swirl spaces tell the truth about themselves is when they
fight each other."
They fight each
I
other.
said it before. Whenever they go in on each other.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm cutting you off. Go ahead, finish up. 18 later.
No. Yeah, no, that's all I was gonna say because I've seen it with Paris Milan, and they all, like he said, they all share the same audience. So Paris Milan, the videos that she go at, a lot of these other divestors, she'll put those on private, but leave her videos up of punching down on black men. So.
Yeah, of course. And but if you get to catch it live, you get to hear all of the what black women call it, all the tea from all the other stuff, all the stuff that only they know about each other. Stuff they may not tell everything, but you start, okay, so you know this about homegirl, or you know that about, and why that matters is it's like no honor amongst thieves. It really is that. Right, and you realize how much of their commentary, how much of them are doing it for we know they're doing it for the money, but they're doing it for the money, they're doing it for the attention, and to protect the idea of black men not being ish, which is very lucrative. It's still very lucrative, by the way.
Bro, I just got off a channel, but what they just said, you a passport, bro? Why you out there trying to go get trying to get a better woman? What the fuck wrong with you, nigga?
Trying to get a better woman.
Thank you. Wait. Pause. BGS caught what I caught. How do you wait a minute, you trying to get a better woman? How dare you? How do you sound saying this?
I'm fucking these women. Why can't you fuck them, bro? Nigga, I ain't got no job, but I'm fucking them. So what you do? I'm like, bro, I don't.
You ain't got no job. I don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. And the sad thing about it is when I hear some of these simp pookies get up here and say, "Oh, well, they just ain't got no game," and I'm like, bro, you a fucking bum. That's why you never had to do like these women don't want to be under
you know what you did.
But who's gonna pay her bills though?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. We gotta be honest. If you're a bum brother, you in your late 20s, early 30s, probably somewhere, and this is what you do. Okay. So your sex game is probably good because this is what you do. This is how you said. This is how you're able to stay with her for 9 months, a year, until she finally get tired of you and kick you out, and then you move to the next chick.
Yes,
it's because this is how you satisfy her. This is what you don't pay no bills, right? And let me say it. I got this dick though, right? Like you got, that's what you got. You got dope dick. That's what you got. That's your job, right? That's what you do. And we all know those people. Shit, some of those people are our cousins. Some of them people are our brothers, right? So we all know those people.
So I call them concubines.
Yeah, right. And so if that's what you do, then me and you are not playing the same game. First of all, I don't want none of them chicks you done touched. That's rule number. I don't want none of them chicks you touched. Number one. Number two, what I look like wifing the chick that you done touched.
Yeah, bro,
right?
bro. Like I'm when I used to go to these hospitals,
Zulu got,
like,
you know, it's because Zulu got it. Go ahead, Zulu.
like,
Go ahead.
I've been at Grady, bro. Like, so I didn't seen the hood keep was it ratchet chick necessarily? She out there stealing medicine from the medicine cabinet, passing it to him in the waiting room and shit, so he can sell to make some money, bro. Like, I didn't see this shit in this EMS. Like, y'all niggas don't really know how bad the hospital really get, bro. Y'all niggas don't really know, bro. Y'all really don't. So, like, when I be seeing shit like that, I be sitting there like, and this the bitch you think I'm a motherfucking fuck with? And then, you know, they be trying to hook you up with, you know, some shit. I be like, bro, I ain't touching that bitch. Y'all, I slap the fuck out you, man. It just, when you start understanding this is what basically what it is out here, man. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna get up and go, right?
Wow.
So,
and let me read this. Let me read, because I had this up for a minute, and because I love this comment from Toy. And Toy said, "Black men are paying debts they don't even know they owe." For real. Niggas is dating a chick and you're like, why she acting like this? It's because nigga, she mad at the nigga from 10 years ago, and you gotta overcome what the hell he was on, or better yet, what she imagined that he was on. More importantly,
not just that. I think black women, like a lot of black women within our community, have fallen in love with this power dynamic that they have of a black man.
Of course, yeah. Oh yeah.
I stand by this.
And it's been that way.
This women are white supremacists. The only difference is they just don't like their position in the
And
white.
let me shout out Anubis. Thank you, Anubis, for the Cash App. Thank you very much, brother. And 18th letter, you said that perfectly. I'm about to close it out, y'all. But thank you, 18th. Like they're in love with the and okay, you want. You can see that Sarge Willie Pete is grappling with this more and more, and he says it all the time. If you want power, then it doesn't matter that your passenger seat is made out of gold. You want to be in the driver's seat, right? It doesn't matter if I give you the bet. We could be sitting in a Ferrari, right? And your passenger, you got the spider web cut. Say it again.
He don't want to admit to himself like black women are locked up in tow when it comes to white supremacists. They just don't like them in it, bro.
Yeah.
I keep saying it. That's the only thing. If they got the same treatment as goddamn as an Asian woman, bro.
Yeah. If they got the same upper middle class and rich white women and wealthy white women status, they wouldn't have no complaints,
bro.
They wouldn't have no complaints. I agree with you on that.
Be thinking about black men.
Yeah, and by the way, that's half the reason why the whole college thing is a thing. That's what half the reason why the whole we're the fastest growing entrepreneurs is a thing, because it's look, Mr. White Man, ain't I marrying my way in? It's 8-hour woman. It's 8-hour woman all over again. That's all they keep on doing. They've been doing it for 200 years. 8-hour woman.
The crazy thing about it is that the more and more you let someone talk and there is no consequences, the more they reveal themselves. See, a lot of these women that are divestors and the Chrissies and all of them, they just told their deepest dark fantasies online. They've been thinking like this.
Yeah.
Some of them been thinking like this. Some of it is fluff to sell to other women. It goes to show you how much they really care about women in the sisterhood, because they don't. At the end of the day,
what is it? The dating apps, which I already knew necessarily, bro. The dating apps been said that shit a long time ago. Like these niggas just starting to catch on to it.
Yeah, it was a short. It was the shorts that I saw about this white dude, right? This white dude, not built, tattoos, beard, thin lips, with Luther Vandross playing in the background. Man, you should have seen these black women that was over on this man's comments,
bro. I seen one.
It was sickening. It was so sickening.
Bro, I seen one white dude. All he did necessarily was talking. You know, he talked like how I talk, like, you know, how people from Georgia talk. He like, "What's up, Shada? How you doing, baby girl? I just want to say how you." And all of a sudden, but oh my god, I never seen nothing like that. Like,
hey, that don't sound like the most. That's so simple. Look, you know what scares me about that? Not only is it so simple, y'all didn't learn nothing over the past 500 years. Man, ain't that the same thing the Native Americans was on? Oh my God, the white man. 500 years later. But ain't that the same thing the Africans was on? Ain't that the same things name them, the South? Everybody was on some. Ooh, look, who's this pale person thingy majigger that's coming off of this boat? 500 years later.
Well, you know,
right? Had like, what the hell? Come on, man.
And when you look at what Just Pearly Things is doing, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Z, me and Mr. Z, we the same age. We all remember the days of growing up on, whether it be like, who remember the Fox lineup? Remember when they had Martin and they had New York Undercover and they had
Yep.
Only thing it was revealed later on that they did that to pretty much
The
raise the
black,
rating.
yeah. That was WB, WB. So, and as a matter of fact, who did some channel covered that where it's like black entertainment in the 90s and how these channels were like struggling and they used us to capture the market. And then once they captured the market, they just moved on to the other thing. I know where you're going with this. Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. And as well as all of our music and everything else. And she's not doing nothing no different. I believe everything that she said. I believe that she is low-key a racist. I believe that she or at least have racist thoughts when it comes to reparations and black people in general.
I mean, she's from the Midwest. She can't help that.
She's doing exactly what she was trained to do. Find a weak spot, capitalize off of it, and build up your brand that way. Yeah. And that's exactly, but like what BGS said, I don't see it no different from what all of these other divestors and swirl channels then did. Only thing it's no difference between a white person and a black person that cannibalize their own.
Yeah.
It ain't no different. And it's a lot of, and that's one thing we got to, it's a lot of these content creators that are cannibalizing their own because they view black people in the same sense that Pearly Things view. And they thinking on an individual basis. And people like that need to be called out.
And here's the thing. You think about this shit on an individual basis. Meanwhile, you complain about your dating life. Meanwhile, you're on a channel. You're on a channel. You don't even like. I said this the other day. I don't know how many of y'all were listening. These people don't even know how to be selfish, right? They don't even know how to be selfish, right? Because they really think you could be out here and really only consider yourself or only consider other black women, and then turn around and then wonder why you can't get you know what? Forget black men for a second. You can't keep no man.
No,
you can't date no man.
They don't understand, but since they never built power, they don't understand cooperation works to come power, right? So if you don't understand that concept and you getting free money off of you just saying stupidness into the ether, right? You think you do this in real life because you get actual results.
What's that one channel? Because Accountable Commentary covered that too. What's that one channel, Mrs. Z, King of Queens? You know that the black girl with the Viking looking white guy that she's in a interracial marriage with.
Oh with the little petite sister with the big ass white dude. And she's cute too. She a cutie too.
We talked about that. She dealt with a situation where her son was being called the N-word and it's all white. She packed up and moved her kid to this all white town where her kids was being called the N-word. I think she dealt with some prejudice there. That white man, she addressed it. She addressed it to him. He ain't do a damn thing about it.
Wait, that big ass white dude?
Yeah.
That nigga like fucking 6'5" or some shit, and he ain't do nothing.
I didn't make
man, and you see, and then you wonder why you get these, and that's why we call them tragic mulattoes. That's why we call them that, right? Particularly coming from the black woman with a white man, because she if she even cares a little bit about race, she'll go talk to that white man, and that white man will eat that. Exactly, bro. I would have been up there. So all right.
And another thing too that we need to understand, like you got these, just because these women, a lot of these women only want to deal with black men because they feel like they have no other man to go to, and that's the one thing black men need to understand. That I wouldn't touch them with a 12-inch pole, man. Because these are the type of women they want you out of here. They want you gone because they want validation from white men that badly. These women's self-esteem are so in the gutter that they are willing to do anything, and it's disgusting. It really is disgusting.
You know how you beat that though? $800 plane ticket.
Hysterical,
bro.
And on that,
it sounds funny though, but like, bitch, you want to play this? See, the problem is like, black dudes are not used to being cruel to women, and I personally just don't. Maybe because I'm 5'9", I don't know, but I got a cruel. I'm like, bitch, what? You did what?
The only thing that I'm talking about, like I'm with you, goes to FBA, but my biggest thing is that any type of power that these women are able to get, they're going to weaponize it against men, whether they're prosecutors in law, nurses, anything, these type of women with this type of mentality will use that. Hell, it's even certain places you can go where dealing with your own women is similar to dealing with a damn white racist man.
It is the exact no. You see, that's the very thing that you keep saying. You keep saying our women. I don't view these motherfuckers as like our women.
No, I mean, well, women you share the same community with.
For me, when I look at a black woman, I look at them no different than if I would look at a Nigerian chick. Oh, you from that group? Oh, okay, all right then. That's how I look at it. Like for me, I'm that. Like when I told you, I looked at this shit like a military minded. Like I went to straight military mode. I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. You see what I'm saying? That's they playing necessarily. So that's how I went to. That was me, right? See, y'all kind of still had that kind of like.
No, I'm the same way. The same way.
No, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me what you're saying. But you guys, I gotta end this because you know Mr. Z is in a whole relationship also.
I mean,
shout out to Better You. The lights are on outside.
Hey,
Better You kill me.
I was gonna holler at you behind the scenes really quickly after you end. Before you
go. Because I gotta go.
Okay.
So let's do this. Send me an email again, like right after the stream, right. and I'll get to you. I'll actually give you my number and everything like that, so you could holler at me offline whenever you need to.
Okay, bad.
Yeah. And but Zulu just jumped. Zulu said, "All right, I'm out." I didn't even do a okay, but yeah, man, thank y'all for coming up and making this a really good this is my Black Manosphere show of the week, so thank y'all for coming up and talking with me and giving y'all commentary on stuff. And like I said, like, look, all of these content creators, they're gonna have their reckoning, and I don't mean that as a threat. I mean like life, right? I don't know how much I believe in karma, but I do believe that there's super evil people that still get off of planet Earth unscathed and live long, happy, like not happy, but long lives, successful lives. I think maybe life hits them another way where their wife passes early or some crazy stuff. But I'm saying all that to say, like, these people are gonna have to deal with the consequences of the way they think and the way they sound. And that's why I'm careful with how I speak about these things, right? Because like I have women in my life that I care about. So it's not about hate women. I don't want to see Black women suffer if they don't deserve it, right? But a lot of these other people, they really, these other, content creators, they do want Black men to suffer for the unforgivable sin of being Black. Being Black and a man, right? And I'm not with it. So, that's why I speak the way I do. I'm very careful with how I speak. And I want the rest of us to also consider that, because now that we know that there's eyes on us for real, I want us to actually do better than the women. Like I said, I don't want us to fall. I don't want Black men in the Black manosphere to end up being what Black feminists are, right? When you get a couple of crumbs flicked off the table for you by racist white feminists, as long as you do their bidding in the Black community, and they use you as the colonizing agent of the Black community, and you don't really got much to show for it except for a handful of elite Black women. That's it, and a bunch of other Black women that's out here loosey goosey with nothing to show for it.
Absolutely.
And I'll end it there, man. So let's do this. 18 letter, your final comment. Better You, AL, if you're still listening in, and then we'll close it out.
All right, Mr. Z, put your information in the private chat.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah.
But yeah, like my final thoughts is like I feel the exact same way. Do I love my women? Of course, I love my women. It's just a lot of them. It's just a lot of these women that presented themselves. You cannot trust them because their own self-loathing is their worst enemy. Their their thirst to be accepted by the white dominant society is their own worst enemy, and they're willing to scorch earth anything, especially with Black men, in order, if they can't get what they want, they're willing to see everybody else fall just so they can feel however they feel about themselves. And that's the problem, and we can't trust them. So a lot of them we cannot trust, and a lot of them, unfortunately, we have to be aggressive to. No different than dealing with other racist people, anything like that. But I'm interested to see where this whole manosphere thing is going to go, because I'm not going to mention a name really quickly, but I heard OJ Do Jackson say on the video it was a particular content creator that he spoke to that that said, you know, she was not thinking about doing content like this type of content anymore. And that same content creator, which was on Just Pearly Things, was the same woman who capitalized off of KS's deletion.
Okay, I know who you're talking about now.
And she started switching up, and you can tell it was more chameleon because she had prior channels before where she had, you know, family content, and she was just looking at a way to get into the algorithm to be able to, you know, get her coin going based off of those.
Yeah, this using let's call a thing, using black pain to make money and then go do your own thing, whether you're white or black. I'm over it.
Yeah, right? And it's a lot of people that just want to, and we have a lot of chameleons. We do have chameleons in this space that just want to capitalize off of black men.
Oh, look, black men are mad because they're single, and black women are mad because they're single and can't get the type of people they want. Let's go make some money off of that heartache and that pain and that stress. Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, you know, and it's a few of them that's down with us, that's really down with us. But mostly, like, I gotta agree, man. Like, a lot of these spaces just be black men and black men only, speaking on behalf of black men, because now we've had a lot of people that are, you know, they smell they like sharks that smell the blood in the water, and they're going to, you know, try to tear everything apart. So that's it. That's all I gotta say.
All right, thank you, 18th. And I'm checking the back chat. I put my number down. Better, you got anything for us?
In light of a lot of stuff, really, at the end of the day, I feel like we all as men should be striving to be the best version of ourselves. Every day, I personally want to be a little bit better than I was when I woke up for that day. And there's a lot of stuff that we can't control, but we need to snatch control of the things that are within our power, within our reach. And those things that we can't, whether it's women, whether it's other people in general, you know, at some point you just kind of got to let the cards fall where they may. So
yep. No, I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm like this. Yeah, the letting the cards fall where they may. That might look really ugly. I just want to. I'm saying I want to prepare us, but I'm really telling myself that. Right. So yeah, I'm just mentally preparing myself. Like the Brother Roger report says, sometimes you gotta watch them. You gotta watch them die. You gotta watch them suffer, and then, you know, So that's unfortunate. Excuse me, or maybe not so unfortunate. AL, you got anything?
No, I'm straight. Been a great show.
Okay. All right, y'all. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I will pause right there. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Go check out other Black Manosphere content and other non-Manosphere content. Yeah, and yeah, because as a matter of fact, that's how I found out. Like 20 people helped to sink SBV Bang just by talking crap in their little group chat. I'm just saying, goddamn. 20 people took down a whole damn bank. I mean, like they didn't take down the bank, but you know, yeah. So you know, and you know how I know that? Because I watch other stuff that's not Manosphere content. And I also know what's going on in the Black Manosphere because I watch Black Manosphere content. That part.
Absolutely.
So you know, on that note, you know, we'll close out right here. Y'all have a great rest of your night. All right, Mr. Z out. All right, everybody.
Peace.